Você vale muito. Eu não sei quantas vezes alguém já te disse isso, mas eu precisava repetir porque você vale muito. Não importa quantas vezes alguém tente te convencer do contrário. Eu tô aqui para reconhecer o seu valor, porque eu também já precisei de muitas para reconhecer e reforçar o meu. E não há nada mais poderoso do que celebrar juntas, porque nós valemos muito. L'Oréal Paris, porque você vale muito.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come, baby, come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Hey, everybody, we've got a different type of bonus episode for you. First of all, I do have to say, we have a ton of stuff from when we were at Creature Feature Weekend a couple weeks ago that will be coming out in the near future. But if you are subscribed to the Patreon, patreon.com/HMN podcast, a lot of that is getting uploaded as we speak. So if you want to hear a lot of the panels and the interviews that happened a couple weeks ago, that's the best place to hear it right away. Eventually, over time, we'll release most of it on the feed. But I wanted to put out this mega episode. This is something I want to try to do. I've seen a couple other podcasts that have been around as long as we have, utilizing their back catalog for fun little bonus episodes like this. And since tomorrow is the season 3 finale of Chucky on Sci-Fi and USA, I decided that I would compile all of the Child's Play / Chucky films that we've covered into this episode for a couple of reasons. A, just a refresher for long-time listeners, and B, for anyone who's a new listener that maybe hasn't dug deep into our back catalog, here's a couple episodes from our past that you might want to check out. I mean, we are closing in steadily to 500 episodes. So, I could understand if maybe you don't want to listen to all of the episodes that we've put out over an almost 10-year podcasting career. So here's a great way for you to hear a bunch of older episodes. I do want to stress that these are, in fact, older episodes. And by that, I mean that the audio quality might be spotty on some of these. But that's okay because we love them all the same. So enjoy this Chucky mega episode, and on Thursday you will get your regularly scheduled horror movie night episode as well. So you're just getting extra horror movie night this week. Enjoy. To another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week we are discussing Child's Play 2, arguably the best Child's Play movie of the entire franchise. I said it. I'm going to stick by it. I've got about 1.5 to 2 pages worth of notes explaining why I feel that way. So we're still live on YouTube at this point, so let's hash this out.
I'm going to say this, man. I think that Child's Play has and I can't really speak. I think one of the newer ones I didn't see, but next to I would say Child's Play has probably the most consistent franchise.
You know why?
Three
because
three
Don
is
Mancini
tough.
wrote all of them.
Yeah. But like it was almost like they went from a straight horror, and this movie was when they realized that horror can be fun.
Yeah, they
And
dipped their
then
toe just a
yeah,
bit.
Child's Play 3 was a learning curve. It was a learning curve. It was
I've never
still fun.
seen 3. Is it worth watching?
Oh, we'll talk about it one day.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
Might
I
be
had-
on someone's list.
yeah. It's definitely not the best. But then like, dude, fucking Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky are just like they are so fucking fun.
They're
to watch.
laugh riots. They're
Yeah,
just
they're-
comedies. They're not
yeah.
even horror movies.
Yeah, but that's why I don't ever want to watch them again. I don't think I've even ever seen the entirety of Seed of Chucky. Like I think I saw like a greatest hits or like the middle of it at a party in high school or college or something.
The best thing about Seed of Chucky, not to get off track, Child's Play 2, but John Waters' cameo.
Wait,
is
okay,
one of the
you sold
funny-
me. I'll watch it. That's all I had to say, buddy.
What do you want me to do? Draw you a fucking picture? Could you? Someone get a pencil.
Yeah, he plays a trashy tabloid journalist. Best casting in film history. Anyway, so I actually think that this is the first Child's Play movie I ever saw. I feel pretty confident.
That sounds
in it.
right, but it wasn't the first I ever saw. You know, the first one I saw was Bride of Chucky, which makes no sense because you have no like backup information. You don't have any exposition. I mean, I guess they do a good enough explanation, but yeah. So yes, Bride of Chucky is the first one I ever saw. And what about you, BKL?
It's Child's Play 2.
Yeah, he watched it.
Did you guys watch it together?
He watched it at the sleepover that I had for my birthday.
Yeah.
What birthday was it? 11?
Probably 10 or 11, something like that. Right when I was
Nice.
like first dipping my toe into horror movies.
And it was funny because I remember, I think this is the first time I've watched it since then. I think it's been a while. Maybe I watched it one other time, but I remember the wax being like bright orange because I thought it was like pretzel dip cheese. Like that's what I thought he was killed with at the end, was cheese.
My other memory of this, because like, here's the thing, and I doubt any of the guys would ever hear this, and they were really good dudes, but the people that were at my sleepover at that particular time were like,
No last names, Matt.
no last,
No last
names.
names.
No, I'm not going to give any last names. They were like guys who also played on the sports teams I was forced to play on, so like, not really like best friend material. They were just kind of guys that I was in a type of social circle with.
Yeah.
So,
This is the infamous sleepover, Scott.
This was-
This is when I watched Child's Play Starship Troopers and wasn't allowed to watch Porky, so I went upstairs to watch Species with my parents, and they realized they made a mistake.
yeah.
Wow, I would let my kid watch Porky's before subspecies or before Species any day.
But
Species fucked me up. There's like,
But they
well,
didn't
not
know
as
what-
bad as Species 2 though, but
They
we'll
didn't know
get to
what
that
Species
someday.
was. It had just come out.
I feel like your parents were pretty bad at judging what movies were about. Like,
They didn't.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't ask questions.
Yeah.
Like the only time that I
that's
ever
bad
almost-
parenting.
Yeah, GameStop screwed me, and then I had to get my Aunt Gail to buy it for me because my parents took me to GameStop to get Conker's Bad Fur Day, and I was like, "This is perfect." This is
Wait,
a
what?
mature-
What?
Conker's Bad Fur Day. It was a video game about a squirrel that got wasted, and he's hungover and he has to find his way home. And like everywhere he goes is a reference to
How-
a genre of movies.
How do you
It's
spell that?
CONKERS. It's for N64. It's tied with Metal Gear Solid as the best game ever made. But anyway,
That is a wild boast.
The guy at GameStop was like, "This is a little bit too, I don't think your son's mature enough for this game." So my mom was like, "I'm not getting it for you." And then I got my Aunt Gail to get it a month later.
So here's a question. Why are you not a furry? After there's a sexualized, was she a rabbit on the front there?
Because I played this at an age where boobs were funny, because I wasn't allowed to see them. It wasn't like, oh,
Boobs have
It
never
was
been funny.
Boobies.
It's not a game.
Take that, Mom.
But then the other, but that's the other thing is that this was the infamous. I'm pretty sure this is the Chucky getting a swirly sleepover as well.
I was no, it couldn't have been. It couldn't have been because Child's Play 2 was the first one I saw, and then I got obsessed with Chucky after that,
Oh,
and I was
yeah.
pissed. They gave my Chucky because Matt had a Chucky and I had a Chucky, but I had a Bride of Chucky. Like I had like
the
stitched
stitched
out
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave it a swirly, and his hair was
Damn.
never the same.
So
You
hey,
tried to fix it someone tried to fix it in the dryer, which just made it way worse.
So guys, I just I have a public service announcement for anybody listening, as well as anybody on the live stream, but mostly people listening. You might want to go on incognito mode to look up Conker's Bad Fur Day, because I wasn't wrong. There's a lot of shitty DeviantArt kind of furry porn based on
I
it.
mean, there is furry porn on Sonic. So there's 100% going to be furry porn on fucking Conker's Bad Fur Day.
You know what else is really disturbing? Furry porn on Zootopia.
Yeah, that gets creepy.
I mean, furry porn is creepy, but like the Zootopia is really fucked up because
weird
she's so
subject
sweet
for
and
me.
like because you have a crush on
Judy Hopps.
her anyway.
Judy Hopps.
Anyway,
Matt's like,
Judy,
I'm not.
hopping.
I may or may not have a DeviantArt page just directed towards Judy Hopps.
can't escape it no matter what.
Oh yeah, that Zootopia porn is gross.
But where is it?
So I can report it.
Yeah, can you send me a link so I know how to block it properly?
Those are awful. What websites?
Anyway, so Child's Play 2, the horror sequel that's spawned by them trying to do a PR cover-up, is just...
Which is such a great 1991 concept.
Yeah.
Like, evil corporations just... this movie is really smart. Like, Don Mancini, obviously... Don Mancini?
Yeah, I think that's it.
He is just, like, super smart. I think that this was the best and only way you could have gone from the original Child's Play into a sequel. I'm not giving their other sequels like a free pass, because I think that some of them stretch a bit. Although I do really love Curse of Chucky. I don't know about Cult, but I loved Curse of Chucky. I think that is
one I haven't seen. That's the one.
Oh, Curse of Chucky is really good. It's like a lot darker than most of the stuff. It's more closely, tonally, it's much closer to maybe Child's Play 2. Probably Child's Play the original, though, because it's pretty dark. I mean, it's got like Chucky making some quips, but also the quips in this, I was expecting this was my first watch. I was expecting a lot more quips, and I was very happy that he's more pissed off than like a stand-up comic, because that's really, to me, that's the sign that a franchise has gone on too long. You know, as much as I enjoy Dream Warriors, that's when Freddy starts doing his quips, you know, like, welcome to prime time, bitch. You know, and like, and I think that really Hellraiser 3 is when we get, I don't know, it's the best and worst take on Pinhead, in my opinion. So I don't know. I mean, these are all controversial opinions from a white guy that it doesn't fucking matter what I think. But then, you know, we got Friday the 13th. I mean, when did Jason become a caricature? I don't even know. I think probably
tougher.
3.
Yeah, and it's also tougher when they don't,
because he doesn't talk. Yeah. But I mean, think about all the franchises, and I think that there is TCM2 really is when the whole franchise kind of became a comedy. But TCM2 is my favorite now. I mean, not for lack of Toby Hooper trying to make the first one a comedy, but
Scream 5 would have had Ghostface like blowing someone up, and he's like, "You're fired," and then he runs out of the house. It's like, he runs and his knife stays in the air for a few seconds, and his arm grabs it.
So like, my thing is, I love, but like with this specific movie, I love it right from the opening shot, like the opening shot of the burnt up Chucky head.
Oh yeah, when they're scraping that. Okay, so this is the thing, is that I think that we are. I'm trying to think of the term. I'm trying to think of the right word, because I want to say spoiled, but it's not spoiled. I think that we're spoiled in a way because we don't have to sit through intro credits anymore. But intro credits that are exposition are so good.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Because like this is like one of the best. I think that Gremlins 2 had a really great exposition type intro. I think that you can do it in a cool way too with like Night of the Demons, where they had the animated with a great theme song. There are ways that you can do it. Like Halloween 4 has a great intro. Halloween
really,
1 has a great intro.
Say, most of the Halloween franchise knows how to do it stylistically.
And Halloween 5 is an underrated intro, because it's like basically just the sound of a knife going into a pumpkin, and then at the end you see the jack-o'-lantern.
Really,
in general, though,
I think Nightmare on Elm Street also was usually pretty good, because they would have like these weird. You were always inside of a nightmare for the opening credits.
Well, not the first one. Well, I guess is the first one.
You're walking in the boiler room in the first one.
Yeah, but I feel like the first one starts with seeing the origin of the glove.
Yeah, but that's before any of the
then
credits
you see
even come up.
Amanda
I don't
Wyss.
think. I think that's like a quick.
It says New Line Cinema, Wes Craven film, Nightmare on Elm
Gotcha.
Street. So I don't know. I think that it's kind of a gray area. We're just being pedantic now.
Yeah,
But
so-
yes, this is an awesome intro.
So they're scraping up all the burnt pieces of him, and they're basically making him fresh and new. And then the suit,
which is a bad fucking idea. Why would you do this?
I think they wanted to make. He says that they're trying to prove that someone had malfunctioned with the doll. That it could
right. I mean, I get it, but also it's just really stupid of them.
And as soon
but
as
it's the only thing, like you said, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there is absolutely no reason to dig up that doll, clean him off, and remake him unless you're trying to have an argument in court, like a legal argument where it's like this doll isn't haunted.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they were just like, oh man, we need to remake a Chucky. Here's an old robot one. Let's rebuild it. You'd be like, that's so fucking stupid. Just make one for 5 cents because they're cheap to make dolls.
And I've got some questions about the way that they make Chucky dolls for later on in this episode. But so they insert the eyeballs into the toy to finalize building it. And that's when like Chucky's soul is re-entered into the body and causes just an electrical malfunction that like blows one dude.
It looks so good too.
Blows the guy straight through the glass. His face is all sliced up. Good shit.
Yeah, so fucking good. Like, that's the thing about this movie. It feels 1991, but in the best possible way. It's like Candyman level nostalgia for me.
Yeah.
Where you watch it and you're like, oh, I remember good 90s, early 90s horror. This is like one of those movies that I saw. Well, not one of these movies, but like this look was one of the first ones that I saw stylistically that feels like, okay, this is pre-Scream.
Yeah. Well, and the Chucky moves so well too, which is
it's
very well
better
done.
than the first one. Better than most of them, really, because it's all practical, but it's also they know when to fold and when to hold.
Yeah.
Where they're like, okay, we can't get Chucky to do this thing right here, full body, so let's just have his face emote.
Yeah. Like
it's really
they
great.
They really know, like you said, fold and hold. They know when to use him. So Andy is getting adopted while his mom is in a psych ward, and his foster,
which is dark, so dark.
And his foster parents kind of suck. Like,
well, no, beef.
No.
It's fucking beef.
I get that it's beef. I'm talking about from a parental standpoint. Like, I am 100% on Kyle's side. She is going to have to live on her own in a year. It maybe isn't that important to her to have family dinner time. Like, she needs to save money.
That is a personal vendetta that you're putting onto this movie, and I'm not going to stand for it.
That's the thing, though, is that I'm with you, Matt. Fuck family dinners. They are stress-inducing to the max.
But it's like you've got the dad who's like so unsympathetic to the fact that this kid was traumatized.
Also, how do you miss a Chucky doll?
Yeah.
In the bedroom,
and then he's just like, "It's just a fucking doll." Like, it's like, did you not read the case on this child at all before you took him into your
No, they didn't.
Custody?
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. As before you say anything, Brian, I gotta say, I think that there's a bit of reality in this movie, a dark reality, where adoption agencies are just absolutely overrun with kids because people are gonna pop out kids that they don't have the ability to take care of, or they're fucking pieces of shit and they lose their kids. And you know how hard it is to lose your kids in CPS? Like, super fucking hard. You have to be found with a fucking heroin needle in your arm to lose your kids in 2019. I'm sure that it wasn't much better in 1991.
Which apparently, side note, in 1991, Chicago's foster care was almost exclusively the palest of white children running around.
Yeah, well, I mean... do you think that Chicago has any brown people in it? Have you been to Chicago? It's all white people.
Later on in the movie, when all the kids are leaving because of the fire alarm, I'm like, oh my god, it's all white kids.
They couldn't get in with the brown kid union.
Yeah, but I guess Don Mancini, when he strode up to a corner and said "stereo, daddy," didn't really work out in his favor. Huh?
Okay, so Don Mancini might have a blind spot because he is a gay white man.
This is true.
Yeah,
but he's not like, you know, he's he's fallible. So anyway, let's get back to the movie. So there's some darkness here where they don't look at at his case. They're like, okay, well, she's like, whatever the woman's name is that gets stabbed in the chest later is like, oh, you should take him. And they're like, okay, I guess. And so they just fucking leave with him. It's like they didn't really have time to plan it out because the adoption agency or the foster agency is just like, you'll love him. He's a great kid, even though he's traumatized from seeing people get murdered. So I get it. But then we go back to the evil corporation and the little toady who was like, oh, things will be fine if we reanimate this doll. He grabs the Chucky that's been reanimated. He doesn't realize it yet. And he throws it in the back of his car, which is full of toys, which I think is very funny because he doesn't give a fuck about the toys. They're just like prototypes or him doing market research or whatever. He throws him face down and Chucky keeps going, I like to be hugged. I like to be hugged. I like to be hugged, which is actually Chucky became my spirit animal for a moment there because
you're combining two things. This is my slapping of two things combining.
It's your balls.
That's how babies
I like to be hugged was the Tommy doll that they had at the house that Chucky knocks over because then
the good guy. Okay.
Because then he yells hug this and starts beating it with the vase.
Okay, all right. No, it's not a vase. It's like this weird piece of like China ceramic that she's like, oh, that's also really. This movie has a lot of really dark comments, which I think are great. Where Andy's like, the mom is like, my grandmother gave it to my mother, and my mother gave it to me, and he's like, well, who are you gonna give it to? And she doesn't have an answer for that. Because I'm assuming that they're infertile, which is totally fine. Like, be a fucking foster parent, please. Even if you are fertile, be a fucking foster parent. This movie should be like giant red sign, like, be a foster parent, but just vet your kids because they might bring a killer doll home who's going to kill you with a sewing machine. But yes, so also this foster mom does get a bit of a strike against her because she makes fucking egg salad for lunch. How divorced from kids do you have to be like, I'm going to give you the stinky lunch bag? I don't care how much you like the taste of egg salad. There's no time when you should have egg salad in a paper bag inside of a paper bag and then a plastic bag because it's just going to stink up your kid's locker and they're going to get laughed at
Setting
school.
them up for failure out the gate.
Exactly. Exactly. No wonder Kyle wants to get
So
gone.
Kyle, speaking of,
who's like kind of a Patricia Arquette character.
She reminds me, and I don't know how accurate this is because I was like 8, but she kind of reminds me of a babysitter I had, but I don't remember anything about the babysitter, which is weird. All I remember is that the babysitter taught me all the words to regulate by Warren G.
Wow. I feel like I'm learning we've been podcasting for over 6 years together, almost every week. And I'm learning new shit all the time. This makes so much sense about your desire for white boy rap. I blame that woman.
Yeah, so Kyle is she's better with kids than the fucking foster parents are.
Yeah.
Like she knows how to talk to Andy like a person because you can talk to kids like people, but like with the sensitive gloves of like knowing what's appropriate for a kid.
I think you guys are letting the dad like you're lumping the dad and mom.
His name's Beef.
Yeah. Because Joanne.
Joanne tries.
She does try.
She tries until Beef's neck gets snapped. And then she's like, "Be gone from me, child."
But before we talk about that, there's one other kill that we need to talk about, which is the Sparkle Motion teacher.
Oh, dude, I have the quote that I doubt Mrs. Kettleworth's dedication is Sparkle Motion. But the thing is that we have the best quote from the movie, and it's not from Chucky. Get lost, microchip.
Microchip. The weird thing is that when did we watch this movie? I was like 6.
Yeah.
The entire classroom scene, I like remembered scene for scene, every single thing that happened.
If you're watching on YouTube, I used the clip of Chucky with the ruler. It is my favorite shot of Chucky in the entire franchise.
When he's just like walking like this
when he's
with the
walking
ruler.
with the ruler in his hand, he just looks so menacing and creepy, and I love it.
The entire franchise?
Of all of the movies, it's my favorite shot of Chucky.
That's a lot, man. That's a lot to say. I don't know if I have the answer to that. If you were to like quiz me on that, I don't know if I'd have an answer because I definitely want to rewatch Child's Play and Curse of Chucky. But I mean, it's great. It is great. But I also really like when he's in the car with the dude and he has that gun that you know isn't a real fucking gun. It's just a squirt gun. It's like the size of Chucky's hand, and then he shoots the guy in the face where he goes, ha ha ha. I don't know. Like, I can't watch this movie and not think about Graveyard Shift now because that was the last movie that I saw him in.
The teacher also gets an air pump in the chest.
Oh, by the way,
you
you would absolutely get an embolism and die way before you get stabbed in the fucking chest 6 or 7 more times.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. Man, she gets a brutal fucking death.
So, of all the times we've seen her die on our podcast, is this the worst?
Probably. I feel like she gets killed off camera a lot too.
Brett Dourif.
Okay. Yeah.
Whose daughter is in later
The future
installments of the
franchise.
franchise, which I love. I just love that.
So, Chucky kills the teacher. So now,
Here's the question: are we gonna gloss over the fact that he cleaned up his mess? Like, he cleaned up all that blood. He cleaned up that room. He hid the body somehow, and nobody's like, "Oh, the teacher's dead," and call the house. Like, would no one know this? Because it was only detention. It wasn't. It was probably like 3:00 in the afternoon when she got fucking murdered.
I think you're looking too logically into a Chucky movie at that point.
This is the movie to look logically into because it's like the most logical of the Chuckies. Of the Child's Place.
For the next 2 weeks.
Yeah. So,
The next 2 weeks.
So, yeah, we're recording.
Robots are taking over.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, I can't wait. I can't
So
fucking
this
wait.
is going to come out right after
week
that.
after, right?
The week after it's released. So you'll hear our, if you're listening to the podcast, not watching on the live stream, you'll hear our In Theater Now episode. Hopefully we liked it, but I'm excited.
I'm really excited.
Dude, it's got Mark Hamill. There's no way I'm not going to have a good time.
But
yeah, no, it's going to be fun.
But the other big thing that happens in this movie is that, so, you know, Chucky kills the teacher, comes back to the house.
How's it hanging, Phil?
Andy makes a decision. Andy is going to kill Chucky, and he does it the best way he knows how. He pulls a Seth Green, look at me, I'm Leatherface, and he hits a turkey knife, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's a turkey knife.
Turkey knife, and he's down there ready to go. And that's when Beef shows up, and things don't go so well for Beef at that point.
Yeah, also,
Beef got
so this
the
was
best.
it was the cheapest, well, not cheapest, it was the least painful kill, the quickest kill, and also the one that I would feel most appreciative to be murdered by Chucky, because I've seen him murder a lot of people, and I think this is the best way to go. So,
Snap my neck.
Yeah, just fucking kill me. Like, I that's like 30 seconds of horror in your life, and then you're dead. Like,
it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's the
pain,
way I want to go.
No life.
Yeah, so I was pretty shocked because I did say that this is my first watch. I was pretty shocked that Beef got killed, and I'm even more shocked that the mom got killed. And that was that tableau of her like turning her around, and it felt very Halloween H2O when they're just like dead bodies with like crazy shit that's happened to them. Like, I really loved it. It was a great
Chucky turned Joanne into Joanne Fabrics.
Oh,
is her name really Joanne?
Yeah.
Fuck, it's amazing.
Let me see if I can hold this up to the camera. But if you can see, I have a note that says, "There's a Joanne Fabrics joke somewhere."
I can see it.
So this is where, so all that stuff's great, but it's the next part of the movie where things get fucking awesome, and that's Chucky gets the car with Kyle. She tries to kill him. Chucky escapes with Andy, flips her the bird from the back of the truck.
Yeah.
And from this entire...
That's really where... That is the, like, welcome to primetime bitch of the Child's Play franchise, where Chucky stopped being a menacing wisecracker to being a straight wisecracker.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. It worked well for this.
But this point on, the truck stops, and they go inside the factory, and the last third of this movie is, like, perfect. It's perfection.
no.
It's pretty
it's not.
close.
It's
Oh,
pretty
shut
close.
up, Brian.
There's only one issue with the last 30 minutes of this, and it is not a comedy scene. It is a serious scene that they shot comedy style, which was him falling down the slide, and it's just like a camera panning on Tommy, like, whoa, for like 10 seconds with no comedic value. I was like, wow, that is so parody in a serious scene.
All right, so you get
That's
that.
the only
you
issue
get the
I
one.
have.
Anyway, so one of the things I love is that Chucky actually finishes the ritual in this movie. It's been too long that he's a doll, so it doesn't do anything. But like, I think it's a pretty.
Oh, I love that he starts to bleed. That's super cool. Here's the thing about this movie is that. So I think that Don Mancini did the right thing with this, thinking, you know what? Lightning's not going to strike twice, or lightning's not going to strike 3 times.
Yeah.
So the first one, I said what I wanted to say. Second one, I can write a second movie. But you know what? I doubt there's going to be another one because it's hard to go back. It's hard to go on from where we are here. And so he really does like a great job of setting up the tableau of like all the moving parts in the factory, and you get like a nice kill with that guy in the eyeballs.
Yeah, the eyeball kill is
machine,
probably my favorite kill in the movie.
It's not, well, I guess it's my favorite kill, but I don't think it's the best death. I think that the most horrific death is definitely Joanne, really, because it's off screen, but it's also the more horrific because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you know it happened, and then she pulls. Kyle pulls her aside, and you get to see that's what I'm saying. It's a very Michael Myers kill, because a lot of Michael Myers kills are off screen, which is why, Halloween is a very bloodless movie, but still good and effective. But I think that Don Mancini did the right thing by being like, there's no way to go beyond this. And so he really went balls to the wall, all out in this last 15 minutes, and you get Chucky come back 3 times.
Yeah, and every time he looks, well, not every time, but
even more horrific.
But like,
it's great.
Like, they're running through the labyrinth of dolls, which is really, really cool.
Oh, it's so good.
And then, so here's the thing. This is what I like about the movie, is that Chucky realizes that he's trapped as this doll forever, which means that he has got like no fucks left to give. Like, not only is he going to kill Andy, he doesn't even care what he looks like anymore. So like when they slam his hand down, he just
pulls and there's sinews and stuff. I love that's a little movie detail that I really love.
Yeah, he rips his hand off like it's Evil Dead the remake. And then he makes himself a knife hand. He like tapes his hand with the packaging tape. Like,
it's his Blade cosplay, dude. Don't hate.
It looks so. And so here's the thing. So I said that him holding the ruler is my favorite shot of Chucky. Now let me explain one more thing that is a favorite Chucky thing for me, because I love this franchise. Stitched up Chucky has always been one of my favorite Chucky looks, but my favorite Chucky look is Chucky with knife for a hand and legs sewn to a board on like a wheelie cart as he's just dragging himself. He looks so fucking badass and scary at the same time.
Well, the thing also is that it's a very interesting little jab at Chucky by having his balls stapled.
Yeah.
Because he's a doll, but he's becoming a human. And so he's getting his balls sewn into like a little wheelie, whatever. And he's like, I'm gonna cut your legs off. I don't even care.
So here's the thing, though. There's one question that I'm very confused by with this movie. And it's, what is the purpose of the button that Andy pushes that apparently just brings a doll back into the one thing and just starts shoving arms and legs into it until you tell it to stop? Like, why was that built on that conveyor belt? I don't understand what purpose it serves.
It's quality control.
You're more concerned about that than the fact that you can press a button and spray hot wax everywhere but in a toy.
Yeah, like at the end of this movie, I am there for the fucking ride. I have paid the admission. I have done an hour and 10 minutes of character development. I don't give a shit about logic anymore. I am just ready for some mayhem. And you know what?
Baby.
Mayhem, baby. That's whatever it takes reference, but for any noobs out there that haven't been with the show for 4 fucking years and have heard us talk about that movie ad nauseum. Anyway, so you get the House of Wax Jared Padalecki kill, and I love it. I love it. It's such a. I mean, I saw it coming a mile away. Still loved it. Everything about this movie was probably so fresh in '91, and and the thing is that. When we talk about movies, I think Out of the Dark is a great example. When we talk about movies that were kind of ahead of their time, you can still feel that charm, which is really cool to me, where it's not like, oh, I've seen this a million times, because we have the ability to be like, oh, this is where the trope originated, or this is an earlier incarnation of the trope, and it's so charming, and it's so fresh, and it's so entertaining. Like, I think that there's that. This movie is really one of the better movies that I really put off. You know, I put it off because I knew I behind the wizard behind the curtain, I can see Matt's Trello list. I can see Brian's Trello list. They can see my Trello list. And I knew that this was coming like 2 years ago. And I was like, I'll just wait. There are a couple other ones that I know for a fact that I really want to watch. And I'm just waiting. But that said, I have a lot on my list that the two of you guys probably shouldn't watch because they're at least a year out, and I have to vet them because they may be fucking garbage. But so don't go through my list like maybe I want to watch this. Just like do the Matt Kelly where you're like, oh, I found this at a con, I guess I'll watch it. Like we're doing my next. Is it my next pick, Matt? The 92.
I can't remember.
I think that might be my next. I'm pretty sure that's my next one. That one, I've been waiting, and you were waiting, and then you picked it up at a con, and you did the quality control check, and you're like, yeah, Scott, yeah, do it. And so just like ignore my Trello list because my Trello list, I added like 30 things today because I'm amping up for my birthday pick, and I'm like, oh, I need something good, but also bad.
All right, well, let's do our final thoughts and start to wrap up a little bit. So all in all, I still stand by this is, if not my favorite Child's Play, it's tied with Bride. It is a very good fucking movie. It just depends on which type of Chucky I'm looking to watch, I think.
Yeah, I definitely need to rewatch Curse after watching this to make a decision about whether I like Curse better than this, which kind of is blasphemy. That's like if somebody was like, I like Halloween H2O better than Halloween 1978, but who gives a fuck,
See, I love Child's Play too, but the issue, it's not an issue, but it's hard for me to say when something does such a dramatic genre shift throughout the series, I can't compare Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky to Child's Play 1, 2, and 3 because they're just different. They're different movies all in all. Do
you think that Child's Play 1, 2, and 3 are kind of like their own thing, and then everything after is its own thing, separate?
I would think so, and I would think that because 3 is almost like, and it's been a while since I saw it, but the best way I can describe it is 3 is more goofy, but it's almost like a Town That Dreaded Sundown in a sense that it's like a horror movie with just very goofy scenes.
I think that you're talking about slapstick. Yeah. I haven't seen Child's Play 3, but I've seen Town That Dreaded Sundown, and it's very like
when they drive
Laurel and Hardy,
it's very slapsticky.
It's just weird. It's a weird movie. The weird thing is that they all have it they all connect together logically.
Thank you, Don Mancini.
Because even how Chucky comes from his demise in this into part 3 makes sense, and then Bride of Chucky and everything else, they all have a very logical way that they come back. It's not just like the killer comes back and there's no explanation for it.
Yeah,
it's no Terrifier.
All right, so double feature.
Matt, you go first because you picked this one.
So I'm gonna go with the more logical one, and then after you guys say, I'll say what my kind of weird goofy one was. But
sure.
I'm gonna go with Demonic Toys.
Damn it!
See that was my first. That for me, that's the gimme. That's the low hanging fruit because this one feels very much like Demonic Toys. Because if you were to split all of Chucky's good qualities into 6 mediocre killer toys, you get demonic toys. But
And I was thinking also just because of the warehouse.
Yeah,
look, like
yeah,
the
oh,
whole,
for
like,
sure.
locale, like it made me think demonic toys. I'll let you guys go, and then I'll say my really absurd one.
Brian, do you need time? Or you want me to do? You want
Yeah,
me to do?
I need time.
Okay, so this is a little off the beaten path, but if I was really doing a double feature with Child's Play 2, I would pick Who Framed Roger Rabbit as the intro. I'd start with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and then do Child's Play 2.
Because of the dip.
It's because of the fucking dip. Because
Yeah.
this movie, if you guys had seen it when, okay, so Matt, you were 10 or 11. Brian, that would make you what, 6 years old?
Yeah, about that.
About 6 years old. That's kinder trauma, right? This Shockwave talks about that. And Roger Rabbit is totally a kid's movie, but that movie fucked me up because, like, that dip scene is nuts. It's not the dip scene. I'm sorry. It's the fucking steamroller scene.
Yeah, when he gets run over. I stopped watching at that point.
I couldn't. I saw it in theaters and I was horrified.
I didn't see the last 5 minutes until like 6 years later.
But I loved it. I loved the idea of Roger Rabbit. It's just that it was so scary to me. That's like 92
I still think
right
that's
there.
one of the best movies ever. I still think
Roger
it's a
Rabbit is one of the
masterpiece
best
filmmaking.
movies that. What?
I think it's a masterpiece.
Even
I think
outside of genre, you think that movie is one of the best movies?
it's one of the best written scripts. They did
I need to
a
rewatch it.
fantastic
Holy
way
shit.
because they basically just rewrote. It's Chinatown. It's the
It is
Chinatown
Chinatown, yep.
screenplay.
I was
So
trying
it's
to think
like-
of what the crime noir
Yeah.
it was, but yeah, it's Chinatown.
Yeah, like they just were like, let's remake Chinatown and let's put this cartoon character in it. But like, here's the thing: what they did that was smart was that they never stopped it from being a film noir. You know what I mean? Like, it is a noir film.
yeah.
It's just a noir film that's wacky, and I think that that's really cool. So I love that. But I also think that it did so much shit that had never been done as seamlessly as that before. So like it's kind of an important movie. I'm pretty sure like it's even on like AFI's list of like the 100 most important films of all time. Like it's I would very highly rank it as like pieces of cinema.
Are
more than
you
just, like, regular
saying?
movie.
Are you saying that Bob Hoskins in Who Framed Roger Rabbit is better than Bob Hoskins in Super Mario Brothers?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm saying.
So, Brian, back me up here, bro. I'm guessing that Matt holds Roger Rabbit in such high esteem because his first boner was thanks to Jessica Rabbit. Is this true?
It could be because I don't know if she was my first, but she's my most recent. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow. Brian Kelly hasn't had a boner since 1996.
Or yesterday when I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
All right, Brian, what's your double feature, bro?
So this is, I mean, it's not too much of a stretch, but just trying, because Demonic Toys is really the perfect one. But I would go with Scream.
Really?
Because the era of when they came out, the age of when I watched both of these, and my biggest thing for thinking of it now is Chucky's hand caught in that cage, and his reaction is so similar to Billy when Nev Campbell is hiding in the closet and he's got the phone and he's like, "I'm gonna find you, you fucking bitch. You hear me?" Like, if you put them side by side, they're so fucking similar in the way that they like react.
Brian,
That's
I got a
stretch.
project. I got a project for you for by the time this episode comes out.
Side by side.
No, I was gonna say just take Billy's dialogue and put it over top of Chucky, or vice versa.
Yeah.
I think he'd have
It
to
would
do
be
both.
easier to do Chucky, obviously.
Yeah, but so the goofy one that I had was gonna be Jaws.
Jaws or
Jaws.
Jaws 3D?
No, Jaws 1, because they're both Universal movies, right?
This
There's
is
the
a
scene-
Universal monster?
This is a Universal movie, yeah.
Huh.
So Brian was talking about when Andy's sliding down the thing, and then Chucky jumps out, just like when the shark jumps out of the water and attacks Quinn. They blow up Chucky like they blow up the shark. And then it both ends with the two surviving people walking off into the sunset, like the way that Chief Brody and Richard Dreyfuss swim their way back to shore at the end of Jaws.
I don't know, dude.
Dead
That's a
eyes.
stretch. That's more of a
Black
stretch than
eyes.
You ever see the eyes of a shark? Dead eyes like a doe's
Black
eyes.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
Don't fuck with the Chuck is what he says in this movie, and it's the worst fucking movie that they've ever made with Chucky. So, jury's out. But I picked it. Child's Play 3.
Whoa. Rugrats in Paris is pretty bad.
This is for the Rugrats go wild. You know how much ire you're going to get on the group when they listen to the first minute, 30 seconds of this, and you say it's the worst one in the series? People are going to be like, Seed of Chucky!
Seed of Chucky's great, dude.
Yeah, I have a blast watching Seed of Chucky.
I don't have an opinion. I don't have a dog in the fight.
Why do I care about what people think about me? I'm the guy with the bias poll. So
that joke is going to be so old by the time.
Oh, it's super dated when this comes out, but I don't care. I'm calling you out, Brian.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Child's Play. So wait, do you guys disagree or just think that the listeners will disagree?
I haven't seen I've never seen Seed of Chucky, so I don't know. But I didn't hate it, but I also didn't watch much of it.
See, what I like about Child's Play 3 is the cameo with John Waters in it. And that's where it gets...
Wait, I think you're talking about Seed of Chucky.
Oh, yeah. And that's why it's a better movie.
Yeah, Seed of Chucky, John Waters plays a paparazzi photographer, which is like a perfect casting.
Oh, man, that's that scene alone makes it a better movie. What, do you want me to draw you a picture? Can you? Someone get this girl a pencil!
So here's something that I learned when I was doing a little bit of research on Child's Play 3. And it explains a whole lot of what went wrong with this movie. So, first off, this is both Don Mancini and Brad Dourif's least favorite in the entire franchise. This movie came out 8 months after Child's Play 2 came out.
Oh, how?
So Universal already decided they were going to rush a sequel and told Don Mancini he had like a month to write the script and get it into production while they were doing post-production on Child's Play 2.
Holy shit.
And he said, like, I was completely, like, I had put everything in the Child's Play 2, and now all of a sudden I have to come up with a whole nother angle, and he's like, I failed. He's like, I absolutely failed on doing that. And I kind of agree. It does, like, this is a movie that when you watch it, it feels like, okay, we're rushing, we're throwing shit on a wall, because, like, one of the thoughts that went through my head is early on in this movie, so they build a new Chucky body from scratch. And that becomes an important aspect of the movie because now that Chucky has a new body, he doesn't have to put his soul into Andy. Because the rules were whoever the first person he reveals his secret to is who he's able to possess. What sucks is that Chucky doesn't realize this until he's shipped to a military base and tells this to like this random kid who
the dumbest fucking child.
I cannot figure out this kid's age because he looks like he could maybe be like 12 or 13, but he certainly acts like he's about 7 or 8. So like I'm very like thrown off by that. But when I was watching this movie, this thought came through my head, which was, man, wouldn't it have been kind of cool if he revealed himself to like the president of this toy company and just successfully took over that dude's body and then just started manufacturing a shit ton of killer dolls and just ship it, like just kind of going in a whole different direction with the thing, which apparently was not the original intention, but in the Cult of Chucky, they introduced the concept of him hive mind possessing a bunch of dolls. And that originated when he was writing the Child's Play 3 script, but they were told that they didn't have the budget to do that, where he wanted like different parts of him to be put in different dolls when they were building the new dolls. so that he had control over all these different dolls at once.
I actually thought that was what was going to happen because they melted him down.
Yeah.
So his essence and his also that's not a good guy at the beginning of this movie. It is a jelly donut. That is my first note and also my last note. No, I don't mean that as I have no notes. I mean that as their book ended. Yeah. Literally, Chucky in this movie is full of strawberry jam. So full of strawberry jam. It would make so much more sense if he gets melted down, his essence and blood, because in Child's Play 2, he's been in the body for so long that he now is like bleeding and can be damaged. So what I don't understand is why that wasn't, I don't know. It just seems like that could have been such an easy thing, is to say, like, you don't even have to show it. You can just put it in the script as like, that's his nefarious plan, is like, oh, my essence is in all of this plastic for this first run of Chucky dolls or good guy dolls. And I also thought that it was going to happen because the two were talking at each other in the CEO's.
Oh yeah, in the office, and then he pops up behind. Yeah.
So there's more than one, and I was like, no.
So about that CEO's death, because that's the first death in this movie, and it's another one of those things where it's like, I like the concept of it. I like the concept of this toy manufacturer CEO basically being murdered by a series of toys, like that all of the toys are being utilized in his death. But then it's just like, and then he just beats him to death with a golf club. And you're like, oh, well then.
And strangles him.
Yeah, that's true.
How the fuck is Charles Lee Ray in a little rubber body able to strangle a full-grown man, although that guy is old as shit?
I imagine it's Ant-Man logic. So.
Yeah, I mean, like that's always going to be the issue with Chucky. It's the same thing with like children movies, like Children of the Corn and stuff like that. It's like, I'm just going to kick you in the face. You know what I mean? Like, children and dolls don't scare me. I will kick them. I kick them for fun. I will kick them for safety. And you can mark my words.
You and Bacon are just like all about that child abuse.
So the plot line of this movie is, so Chucky ships himself to the military school that Andy has enlisted himself in because he's been unsuccessful at living in different foster homes.
So how many years is this supposed to be? I missed that.
8. It's 8 years since the last movie.
It's not the same character playing Andy?
No. It's a different actor who, for a split second, I thought was the kid from Boy Meets World and Step by Step, who was like the voice of Binks in Hocus Pocus.
Oh my God.
And then I got a closer look at him. I'm like, oh no, that's not who that is.
And I do have a question. This is for the listeners. If there's any listeners that were in the service at any point in time or went to a boot camp, is this trope in movies? Because this isn't the only movie. Do the guys that cut your hair always have this weird sadistic fetish about cutting your hair?
Oh, you mean when I wrote the 2 words haircut orgasm?
Yeah.
When he's cutting someone's hair and he's just like, yeah.
He's cutting he's cutting Tyler's hair. Yeah. And he's like all about, that's Kirsty's dad.
Yeah.
That's Larry.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's Larry from the original Hellraiser.
I was really excited because I thought that was Big Daddy from People Under the Stairs or whatever his character is. And I was like, no, other dad.
Yeah, other Big Daddy. That same scene. So he's there and he's shaving the head and he's making that ooh yeah noises. And then he like throws Andy in the seat and he's like, I'm gonna shave off your hair too, and it's gonna be glorious. And while Andy's sitting in that chair, the Good Guy toy commercial comes on, and Andy's terrified, but Taylor's like, oh wow. And I wrote this note that I'm gonna read for verbatim. That kid seems a little too old to be so excited by a doll, wrote the man sitting in a basement surrounded by toys.
Well, at least you accept it.
That kid is so weird. That kid makes me live.
He's playing a Game Gear, dude. He's literally playing a fucking Sega Game Gear. I mean, if it's not, maybe it's the Sega. The Game Gear might have been the second round of their handheld from Sega. But I mean, because it didn't look exactly like my Game Gear from the like split second that you see it. But I was like, that looks like a Game Gear, bro.
My favorite thing about this kid, Tyler, is that, like, again, I think that the actor is older than the character that they wrote. Because, like, there's scenes where he says something, I forget, like, Chucky says, like, fuck or shit. And he just goes, don't swear, Charles. And like,
And he's like, stop calling me Charles.
yeah. And it's like such a reoccurring thing, but it's like, I understand, like Brian and I's niece gets very awkward about cursing still. And she's in middle school. But this is a kid who grew up on military bases. If this kid's not used to hearing people yell fucking shit and all types of awful, awful things, because as someone who is in ROTC for the first year of high school, I can tell you they are foul-mouthed people. He is in no position to be telling a doll to stop cursing.
I forgot you were in
Wait,
ROTC.
I was about to say, like, the thing that really is kind of twisting my brain into mush right now is imagining Matt Kelly in formation.
So, funny story about me being in formation. You want to hear the story about the first time I passed out?
Yes.
I was in formation. My legs locked, and they cut the blood flow, and I just passed out on the pavement and outside of the school.
Oh, that's my biggest fear right now. That's what I've been told left and right, that standing up on an altar, you have to keep bending your legs or else you'll pass out.
Yeah, dude, that was my fucking fear when we got married too. Okay, so here's a question for you. Are you guys doing like a church wedding?
No. We're getting married by our friend's dad, who's a pastor, but like our biggest thing is like I've been to quite a few weddings that like I know, so like we want our service to be like 15 minutes.
Yep, that's
because
what we
nobody
did too.
really cares. You know what I mean? Nobody cares.
The worst was, and like I love them. They're two of my best friends.
Don't use last names.
I won't. But my two friends got married in his family's like Greek Orthodox church.
Oh my God, Greek Orthodox is so long. It makes Catholic
it's like an
Mass,
hour and a half.
Yeah,
it's
Catholic
so
Mass
long.
is an hour, and then Greek Orthodox. We actually shot a wedding at a Greek Orthodox wedding. I guess that was last year, and my God. It was my first and last, and it was actually our last wedding that we ever shot. And it was like you couldn't have gone out on a more excruciating note because you want to look busy, you know? And that's the great thing about like a 15-minute ceremony is that you are snapping pics for 15 minutes, and that gives you a lot of content. If you are snapping pics for an hour and a half, do you know how much work my wife has to do to like pick through the 5,000 pictures we took? And no one gives a fuck. You're just standing on an altar.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was in ROTC.
So before we get back to your ROTC, Brian, just make sure that your blood sugar's up, but don't drink a bunch of caffeine that day.
I am, but I'm also not. Right? I need to have my caffeine. But what I figured I'm going to do is I'm going to get there's Red Line. It's a really strong caffeine drink, but it's clear. I'm going to put that in a little flask, keep it in my pocket, and then I'm just going to do little hits. So I'm not chugging a bunch of caffeine before I go, and I can just gradually stay awake throughout this entire process.
I mean, that's a good idea, but also maybe don't put it in a flask because you don't want people to think that you have fallen off the wagon.
Oh, I think that's part of the appeal.
Yeah.
Why don't you put it in? Oh, you know those like the travel size little spray bottles? Put it in that and just shoot in your mouth like
Listerine?
Yeah. Well, like from Happy Season 2.
I mean, we can dive back into Child's Play 3. I don't really have a ton of ROTC stories. I was very bad at it. When you join ROTC as a freshman, they would like promote you throughout the year. So you all started as private, and then like eventually they would move you to private first class, and then as you continue to do more and more events with the ROTC, you would keep raising. And like my teacher for the ROTC class was just a senior who had been like elevated to like, oh, he's like drill sergeant level, so like he gets to teach this class, while like the two actual teachers just like hung out in their office the whole time. It was fucking wacky, and most of the kids who were in ROTC were fucking wacky. But like literally by I don't know November, I was like, yeah, this isn't for me. Like I just realized like I made a huge mistake. The main appeal was I suck at learning languages, and I had to take language or ROTC. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just take ROTC.
That seems like a really weird ultimatum.
Yeah, one or the other. Very much so. So I was like, yeah, I'll do ROTC. That'll be fine. And like that's when I also realized that my head is like super weird shaped because it was shaved all the time. But
that actually is. Sorry, I can't wrap my head around this. If you decide that you're going to go to the military, which will probably require you to go to a different country at some point in your life, we don't think it's important that you learn that language. So we're going to let you. We're going to let you slide. You know. But if you want to be an electrician, you better brush up on your French.
So what ended up happening was like in October, we did an overnight weekend trip, which is the one that was when I got to be at Camp Crystal Lake. We did an overnight at the actual camp in New Jersey that they shot the first Friday the 13th, which was cool. And that was kind of one of the main reasons why I signed up to go. Was I was like, ooh, sightseeing. But that was like anybody who went on that trip got promoted up to private first class. So signed up for ROTC in September, got to private first class in October. By June, when I decided I was done with ROTC and leaving high school, I was still a private first class because I never did another ROTC event beyond that. I just showed up and I told them, I was like, look, I'm going to finish out the year because, like, obviously I have to, but I'm not doing anything else. And they're like, okay, we understand. Just show up for your class, like, do what you need to do, but we're not going to, like, you're going to get an A and we'll just let you leave. I was like, all right, cool. Thank you. So I don't know. I was discharged from the Sun Valley ROTC.
Was it honorably?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was honorably or not, but it was definitely filled with shame. There was a lot of head shaking.
So De Silva, because everybody goes by their last names at Army camp, apparently. I mean, Army school. That's Marissa from old school. So, like, I'm looking at her, and when she was fucking 14, she looks the exact same as she did as she did, like, in old school when she was probably, 35, which is very off-putting for me. So as I'm looking at her, I'm like, look at the wife, judging. Look at the baby, look at the baby.
So we were at Outback, which was lovely. And I couldn't help but wonder what kind of panties the waitress was wearing. Probably whitey tighties, but what if it wasn't? What if it was a thong?
I just realized that I was going to be looking at the same pair of underpants for the rest of my life. And then they're just like looking at him horrified. And he's like, I thought we were in the trust tree.
I got to rewatch old school. It's been forever.
Oh, man.
The one thing I will say is that I did have a lot of ROTC flashbacks watching this. Like, specifically when they were marching to, like, do their war games thing, and they were doing that, like, like, we had to, when we did that camping trip at Camp Crystal Lake, it was like maybe like 1.5 to 2 mile walks to everything, and that's like how we got from place to place for the entire weekend.
Ugh.
Which, you know me, I was like, this is horrible. Like,
But you got to sing.
Yeah, but not like, I didn't get to belt. They weren't into it when they're like, Matt, take over. And I was like, do you believe in life after love?
After love, after love.
But yeah, no, it's good times. Anyway, back to Child's Play 3.
I have a question for you. Do you think that at military school, they're going to let De Silva wear lipstick?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like 100% not. I mean, this movie plays fast and loose with a lot of that stuff, I feel like.
Oh, and also, for another Matt Kelly pick, which shit do you like better? The one in Pick a Destiny or the one that Chucky does in Child's Play 3?
So it's definitely Pick of Destiny, but what trumps them both is Hot Rod shit as he tripped over a log. But yeah, so let's talk about some of the deaths in this movie because they're all kind of lame.
I'm glad that, yes, thank you.
Like the trash death, I think movies made me think that trash trucks did a lot more than they probably actually do.
Starting with Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah, like it's just like, it's always like just the most horrifying like torture device. And then like I look at like a normal like trash truck and I'm like, I feel like it just compresses it and that's it. Like I don't think that there's like a spinning wheel of spikes inside of there as well. Is there? Like,
yeah, but do you want to get squished to death?
No, not ideally, but I mean, I feel like that's enough. Like Star Wars didn't, well, I guess they added a monster in there, but like
that dying.
But yeah, so like they've got that death. Then there's the guy who dies from a heart attack that's almost as long as Paul Rubin's death in Buffy. Like,
ooh,
like it's like, that's ridiculous. Like probably the best deaths in this movie are like him slicing open the dude's throat.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the geeky kid sacrificing himself on a grenade. It's just like, which is the only death that I always remember in this movie. I forget all of the other ways that people die, but I always remember the kid jumping on the live grenade.
Before Captain America, First Avenger, we had Child's Play 3.
Yeah. Is that your double feature? Why'd you ruin your double feature?
Shit! So a couple things that I just am having a problem with here. First of all, during their war games, they're up in the fucking snow and it's cold, and then they go literally
To a carnival.
and it must be summertime. No sense being made there. I know why Matt picked this, because there's a dark ride.
Yeah, no, and Brian called me out on it, so I'm not going to say it. But
I know it. I shouldn't have called him out because he would have said it.
Brian was up here for a week, and he was like, I forget what we had just reviewed, but you were like, I was shocked you didn't say this when we recorded this episode, but like, I know for sure you're going to fucking say this during Child's Play 3.
Oh,
you're going to be like,
3.
Oh, Jaws 3, you're like, wouldn't it be cool if that was like an actual ride?
Yeah, because I
ride it.
100% he felt that. Remember that shitty walkthrough thing in Jaws 3 where like the eels pop out at you? That is a Matt Kelly ride if I'd ever seen one. And that is a Matt Kelly ride, so much to the point that, Scott, you don't know how family vacations are, but there's rides that Matt enjoys, and then there's rides where like we'll go on a trip and it's like, let's ride this ride, that was fun. Now Matt's like, oh, I got to figure out how I can pencil that in 1 or 2 more times. And that's
mandatory fucking fun.
And that's one of those.
It's 100%. It's 100%. Like, I'm trying to remember what, like, obviously Disney's the big one because I'm like, well, we got to do the Haunted Mansion a couple times. We can't just do it once and call it a day. But no, I think the other thing that you need to know about me is if I'm anywhere and I see that there's a Ripley's Believe It or Not museum nearby, I'm going. Like, I love just walking around weird wax museums. Dude, like a Ripley's Believe It or Not.
We went to one. Did I tell you that last summer when Megan and I went up to Hamilton, Ontario, we stopped at Niagara Falls and we went to the Ripley's there? It was a huge rip, dude. It sucked so
they
bad.
Are. They're all terrible. But they
it's in the name.
But they suck Matt Kelly in every single beach that I go to.
But I keep forgetting who I'm talking to. Thank fuck you don't have, I'm going to say this in the meanest possible way, but I don't mean it that way. It's so good that you don't have like legitimate financial responsibilities because you have no way of stopping yourself from spending money on dumb shit like Ripley's Believe It or Not.
And that's the funniest thing to me is like, I've been looking at my finances lately because I've actually been doing a really good job of like saving money.
No, like in real life, that's what I mean. Like I'm saying it in a mean way, but you also have no chill when it comes to like entertainment.
But that's the thing. It's like, I can be so financially responsible for like all types of shit. And then it's like, ooh, it's only $100 right now to buy the entire Tales from the Crypt series on Blu-ray. Well, I mean, I'd be stupid not to spend that $100.
So, yeah, this is the dichotomy of Matt Kelly. Oh man, ketchup sandwiches again today, but I got $100 DVD coming in the mail.
The most recent purchase like that was when I saw that Vinegar Syndrome was putting out Dolly Dearest, and I was like, well, how could I not? And
dude, why are you ruining your double feature?
Nice. But yeah, I love the convenience of that carnival in general. And this is the thing that I realized. I was trying to figure out why I ride so hard for Chucky. Like, if anything in that poll that we did a couple months ago has proven, is like, I am like all in on Chucky. And I think it's because Chucky dies better than any other slasher to me.
Oh, absolutely.
Like everyone else, it's like, oh, we're going to use like his knife. We're just going to shove Jason's machete inside of him and chain him to the bottom of the water. Or like Michael Myers is just like, oh, we'll decapitate him or whatever. But like Chucky's like losing limbs and then attaching knives to those limbs or getting like half of his face sliced off and like being chopped to bits inside of a giant fan in the middle of a roller coaster.
And that it has to be some sort of health hazard to have that gigantic fan there.
100%. You think that doll's the first time something fell out of that janky ass carnival roller coaster?
There's way too many dangerous things. There's way too many on the ride.
No, I think that's a blanket statement for Brian Kelly in real life. There are way too many dangerous things. I'm just going to stay in my room.
That is actually true.
I think Brian watched this with me, but Scott, did you ever watch the very short-lived Clerks the animated series?
No, but you've talked about it before.
So when I think of carnivals, I always think of the last episode of the Clerks animated series is the best episode of that cartoon series. Because the concept is that the clerks are going to a Comic-Con convention, and when they get there, all of the fans are complaining that the cartoon is too outlandish, and they wish it was just them hanging out and talking in the store like the clerks that they love. So they create this weird scenario where they're trapped inside the store, but the shutters won't open. So they have to work all night because there's a carnival across the street and there might be customers that come over from the carnival. So it's just like a really weird way of like, they're staying with the Clerks concept of they're just in the store the whole time. But the one line is Randall's convinced that carnival rides are unsafe and he doesn't want the Ferris wheel to break off of its track and hit the store. And he's like, he goes, those rides are all built by junkies and speed freaks. And he's like, that's just a terrible generalization. And then like these two junkies walk in and they're like, hello, do you have any Band-Aids or rubber bands? We're trying to build a tilt-a-whirl across the street. Every time I think of carnivals now, that's like I look at them, I'm like, oh, that's built by some Band-Aids and rubber bands. Like, it's just trash.
That's my rule, man. That's always my rule. Was this put up in a few hours? I'm not getting on it. Yeah. I only get on rides that are always
I guess there. We don't really think about that. Traveling carnivals, it's like, well, we built this in about 2 hours, so we're pretty sure it's safe for people to get on.
Yeah.
We tested it with a mannequin and its head didn't come off, so we're pretty sure the Gravitron is safe for humans now.
That also makes me think of one of my favorite little snippets from Reno 911, and it's when they have to get different jobs, and the one guy, it becomes a carny, and he's just like getting drunk doing the tilt-a-whirl, and he goes, mustache rides 5 cents, and he like throws his beer can.
Oh god, what a show.
I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, but it's coming back on QB, which is not
yeah, those are 10-minute episodes. I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain. It's still fresh content, right?
It's funny because I saw someone share this. The creator of QB did an interview where he said that coronavirus has really ruined their platform's launch plans. Like, he's like, it really affected our ability to have a successful launch. And someone was like, yes, people being stuck inside, starved for content is what's hurting your app from people wanting to watch content.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I mean, the problem is that you can only watch it on your phone, which I think is stupid. Like, I get that it's these short 5-10 minute things, but like, get a fucking app where people can download it onto their Apple TV. Like, I don't want to watch, if I want to binge all the episodes of Reno 911, I don't want to do it laying on my bed on my phone. Like, that's not the ideal circumstance for me. I want it projected on a TV where I'm doing a bunch of other things and not paying attention the way I watch most things.
Well, Apple TV is irrelevant. I guess you're thinking Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
Apple TV, I could just cast my phone to.
I was going to say the same thing. I was like, you can do that right now.
I'm thinking of Fire Sticks then, yeah. My Amazon Fire Stick. Anything else that anyone wants to say about Child's Play 3?
My book-ended comment, that is not a Chucky doll, that is a jelly donut.
Mm-hmm.
And what I said in the chat, just my final thing, is this is definitely an awful Child's Play film, but it is far from the worst third in any horror franchise.
Well, so that's something that I think that we need to unpack here. Like, what do you think is a worse third? Like,
Scream.
So well, yeah.
That I defended.
Yeah. So wasn't Brett on that episode?
Yeah.
So what else? Like what? Because some people might be like, oh, Hellraiser, Hell on Earth, and I'm like, no, Hellraiser, Hell on Earth is fucking fun. But like that's the problem that I had with this movie, is that it's just not like a whole lot of fun. It's really not that bad of a movie. It's not like unpalatable. It's just not very interesting.
And I think it moves quicker than I was willing to give it credit for, because like there was a point where I was like, oh God, is this almost over? And then I like hit the button. I was like, oh, it is.
It is
like,
almost over.
Yeah, like there's only 20 minutes left. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, this is fine. We're going to go to the carnival and that's when this gets good anyway. So like, I got this.
I don't think that Friday the 13th 3 is very good. I don't think that Leatherface is very good.
Oh yeah, Leatherface is pretty stupid.
That's what I mean. Like taking specifically.
Good.
Yeah, I was gonna say take Nightmare on Elm Street 3 off the table. Most Part 3s in franchises are not. Like I feel like there's more Part 4s that I think are better than Part 3s a lot of the time.
That's well, yeah.
Scream.
I guess they have.
Yeah,
Scream is fucking awesome.
Friday the 13th 4, the final chapter, is way better than Friday the 13th 3D.
Halloween 3 is good. Halloween 3 is good, actually.
But that almost doesn't count, because
I would
it's like another movie.
I would argue that Halloween 3 and 4 kind of fit the mold and don't fit the mold, because I think Halloween 4 is as good as Halloween, but I can't say that it's better than Halloween 3 because they're completely different films.
Yeah.
I will watch Halloween and Halloween 4 every October for the rest of my fucking life,
Mhm.
but I won't be watching Halloween 3 every October for the rest of my life. It's probably like an every other year, every third year kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what's a part 3 that's really great? Puppet Master.
Yeah, Puppet Master 3 is fucking great. It's got Nazis in it.
It's good, yeah. But that also can't, I don't know. Like, those movies are, we like them, you know? They're not good. None of them are good.
But what is a good movie? Are we talking about critical acclaim? Because fuck that. We're horror movie night. Is it like entertaining? Then yes, it's like,
Okay.
I think that entertainment value is so much more important than some critic being like stroking his dick and being like, this is really good.
Here's one to throw out there, because we figured out Brian had watched this for the Jersey Ghouls, and the other part 3 that he watched was Sleepaway Camp 3. And I think that Child's Play 3 is better than Sleepaway Camp 3. And that's from someone who adores Sleepaway Camp and Sleepaway Camp 2.
Yeah, but Sleepaway Camp 3 is just...
I didn't see the second one, so I'm strictly based on the first and third.
Yeah, 1 and 2 are pretty much untouchably good, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, I will never... I have nothing bad to say about the first 2 Sleepaway Camps. Sleepaway Camp 3 is fun and stupid, but it also is just too much. Like, it's not something that I rewatch very often.
I might sit down and rewatch part 2 today, because that's like, 75 minutes? It's such a short watch.
Dude, I think it's just, you got to wait until the weather, well, I mean, wait until the weather in normal times is a little bit warmer, because it's got to be summer camp, bro.
That's true.
Yeah. See, horror movies are so hard to, like, stack, you know what I mean? Because there's so many factors in it.
The only true way to do it is to post a Facebook poll every single day.
we should do
a part 3 one.
Yeah, we really should, because
I'm down.
Leatherface isn't great, but also I put it as a better movie sometimes for a reason I shouldn't. But like, Child's Play had good movies after Child's Play 3. I am a firm believer that, like, for me, 3 is the last watchable Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
You're not wrong.
Everything is just an awful decline. So it's like, 3's not great, but it's also way better than everything after. Friday the 13th has better movies following it. Let's just do a poll, because we'll actually make this episode too long if we try to dissect it on our own.
100%. All right, so double features. This is going to sound completely absurd. You would think, like Scott called me out. No, it's not Dolly Dearest. For some reason, while I was watching this movie, with all the military crap that was happening, specifically with the asshole kid, I was like, man, I really want to watch Animal House.
Now that is a weird double.
So Animal House is my double feature.
Okay.
That is a weird fucking double feature.
Is that a pledge pin on your uniform?
Scott, you can go, because I'm going a lazy route.
Well, so I was gonna go the lazy route too, but then Matt's like showing us up, and we gotta bring it, because I was just gonna say demonic toys, but then again, like I think I want something that I'd really enjoy after watching Child's Play 3. So, you know, if we're talking Tiny Terrors, what I don't know what I'm gonna go with. Maybe I go with, you know what? Fuck it. For some reason, as soon as I said Tiny Terrors, I was thinking The Kindred, and any excuse to rewatch The Kindred is a good enough reason for me. And so I would start with Child's Play 3, and then I would watch The Kindred just because it just seems like, you know, somebody who hates being in the body he's in.
Yeah. I'm gonna break the rules that we set in the beginning.
What rules?
And I'll explain why. I'm double featuring this with Bride of Chucky. And I know that we are like, oh, don't do like the sequels, but it's
wait, when did we ever say that?
We've only said that occasionally, and I feel like it's just this unwritten, like, don't just be like, we watched Freddy's Dead, but I would rather watch Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's like, that's a little unimaginative. But I'll let it slide, because I feel like Bride of Chucky is such a wildly different tone than where this leaves off.
And if I'm being honest, I just couldn't, if I was ever, I don't know why I would be like Child's Play 3 during a double feature, but if I ever was going to do that, I would 100% follow it up with Bride of Chucky. No questions asked. Like
because Bride of Chucky picks up like right where this left off. Like, I think Bride of Chucky's supposed to take place like 2 months after Child's Play 3.
And that's the best thing we got out of Child's Play 3 is we got him going through the fans. So now he's got that cool diced up fucking look for 2 movies.
Oh, that's because, so I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I had never seen Child's Play 3 until watching it for this show, for this episode. But I did see Bride of Chucky in when did that movie come out? 99?
Yeah, something like that. 98, 99.
Yeah, I watched it right when it came out on VHS, and I remember being like, I didn't know why his face was all chopped up. I actually don't think I'd seen any of the Child's Play before I watched Bride of Chucky. And so is that the reason why he's all diced up in that movie?
Yeah.
All right.
She gets the doll as they had found it, all chopped up, and she sews them back together.
I think it's part of the weird credits intro. I don't know. It's been so long since.
Yeah, it's during Living Dead Girl.
Yeah.
Living Dead Girl's playing while she does it.
Of course it is.
That's the thing where I've always argued. Chucky has a very weird, consistent logic of this leads to this, leads to this.
Well, it's because Don Mancini's been connected to it for the entirety of until the remake.
Until the remake, he's written every single one of them. So it's that helps.
Not
All
bad.
right.
We got it.
Hey, everybody! Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Horror Movie Night. This week, we are talking about Bride of Chucky, which was kind of picked by Brian, but not fully picked by Brian. Let me give you a quick breakdown, and then we'll let Brian talk about it. Brian had picked a different movie, which really the biggest appeal of the movie was that he owned it and needed an excuse to watch it. But then he realized that he had boxed up all of his DVDs already for his move. So, the one advantage of that pick didn't really exist. And earlier, Scott was saying that he's been holding off on watching Bride of Chucky for waiting for one of us to pick it. So it seemed like a prime opportunity to give Brian a total layup pick with Bride of Chucky. Brian, I know that Bride of Chucky is something you would have picked eventually. So how about you let us know the reasons why you would have picked it?
I would have picked it because I think it was I think it was the turning point in Child's Play. It was the right move. They finally realized a killer doll is kind of laughable, so let's kind of focus more on the dark comedy aspect as opposed to the horror aspect. I think this is the best Chucky movie, without a doubt.
I always bounce back and forth between this. It's definitely in my top 2. It's always bouncing between this and part 2 for me. But it just depends on what mood I'm in. If I'm in the mood to enjoy what is a very early example of not a very early, we've had earlier examples, but for the time period, a good meta horror, taking that what Scream set out with their meta horror and applying it to a pre-existing character. I think that Bride of Chucky made the smoothest transition into doing that. Mm-hmm. And I do think that some of the jokes still are really funny, some intentionally and some unintentionally. I don't know. Man, I just blanked on his name. I don't want to say the wrong name because it sounds like it's almost the same as a guy that I went to high school with. But David M., I can't remember his last name right now. I don't know him personally, but I can't imagine that he wrote a line like, "Pooh, something really smells back here," and not intended it to be kind of comical in the way that it was said and delivered. It's such a ridiculous line for someone to yell "poo" in their teenage years.
What I do love about the intro of this movie is when they made this movie, I feel like it was still a possibility to have the ultimate battle between Freddy, Jason, Chucky, and Ash. Because they had Freddy's glove, they had Jason's mask, Mike Myers' mask, and they also had a deer head on top of the locker, which I think was for Evil Dead.
That locker scene is a very entertaining, wink and nod to just being yeah, we know what we are.
Yeah. But we're all in the same universe.
Yeah, but it's just so funny because, how did they get the rights to do that? Because Compass Pictures International is notoriously, well, maybe they weren't back in was this 99?
I think it was 97.
Compass Pictures International now is notorious for being complete sticklers about, their property in Michael Myers. Maybe they were running out of money in 97. Well, I think 96 was Halloween 6, right?
No, this would have been right at the time of Halloween H2O. So I think everybody was just on the
H2O was 2000 or was 98 though, wasn't it?
Oh, then maybe this was also 98.
Bride of Chucky is 98.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was definitely in middle school when Bride of Chucky
H2O is
dropped.
98 as well.
Crisis averted.
Well, also they're talking about, Tiffany goes, "I'm sorry that it took a decade to find you."
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that Child's Play was 88.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, so this was
Yeah,
also
88. Which I really liked that little bit of world building there, like where it kind of grounded was such an absurd concept and really said, okay, it's 10 years. We're going to be very on the nose about that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, and I think that, like, it did its job of, like, they bring it up a bunch of times anyway, but, you know, it is, like, introducing Chucky to the 90s, essentially. Like I like that he's just, like, so stuck in his ways. And that leads to a lot of the funny, like, I love the idea that, like, Tiffany is just, like, yeah, stabbing doesn't do anything for me anymore. You got to get really creative with the kills these days. And it's, like, such a wink and nod to, like, every horror person watching a slasher movie where it's like, yeah, I'm kind of over just the stabby stab. I need you to do something crazy.
Yeah, and also it's really funny because Alexis Arquette plays Chucky's first kill of the movie, and they're like, oh, that's so lame. Like, isn't that, it's so 80s or something like that. I think, I can't remember exactly what they said, but it was such a funny little, I do like the wink and the nod. Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This was the first watch that I've had of this movie since 1999. I watched this movie on VHS 1999 and I didn't even remember that Katherine Heigl was in it. I didn't remember that John Ritter was in it. You know, like all I knew was that it was Jennifer Tilly. You know, it's okay. It's not like something that I would seek out on a regular basis, but I do think that it deserves a lot of the cult status that it has.
I think the other thing that's really funny about this movie is the introduction of Jennifer Tilly into the movie, because I mean, sure, I'm sure she gets decent enough paychecks from it, but, like, if Seed of Chucky teaches me anything, it's that she actually has a lot of fun doing these movies.
Oh, yeah.
Because Seed of Chucky has the ongoing joke where you find out that the character Tiffany is a giant Jennifer Tilly fan.
I love when we have these people, especially women, I mean, because, like, for better or for worse, mostly for worse, horror is a really male-dominated, hyper-macho, masculine kind of genre, right? So when we have women that are, like, especially women that are older than us, that are, like, into it, they really are, like, obvious horror enthusiasts. And the two that come to mind now, I mean, obviously Jennifer Tilly, and then the other one that really comes to mind that you'd never think is Lisa Loeb, you know, like, so funny to me. I love that.
There's a lot of things I like. The thing that always sticks out in my mind, and I'm sure Brian is going to agree with this, but, like, I can't listen to Living Dead Girl and not think of the opening of this movie. Like, it is, I know I had already known the song because, like, Hellbilly Deluxe had been out. And, like, that record was, like, a big record between me and my middle school friends.
Though. It was I didn't have a copy of it. I didn't need to have a copy of it because everyone else in school had a copy of it.
But, like, I remember us renting this movie because we didn't get to see it in theater, so we rented it maybe a year later. And when that started playing, we were just like, fuck, this movie's amazing.
I got two zombies in this movie. We got Rob Zombie and White Zombie.
Dude, one of my notes is just, I don't know why, but Chucky rocking out to Thunder Kiss is so charming to me, where because it's so bad with the little puppet headbang while he's got the devil horns up.
Speaking of metal, there's something I've been thinking about, and I don't know why, but it's so fascinating to me. Everyone talks about, like, the Stanford prison experiment and, like, how insane that outcome was, but, like, no one talks about how insane the experiment when we took all of, like, metal's biggest stars, put them in a band called Probot to see what would happen, and somehow it sounded like a high school shitty metal band.
Man, I remember when fucking Probot that is a deep cut.
It's a deep cut, like, and they produced one good song, and it was the song with Lemmy that just sounded like any other Motorhead song.
Yeah, shake your blood, shake your blood.
I remember Mario telling me, like, oh, this band Probot, it's a super group, blah, blah, blah. I was like, that sounds sweet. Burn me a copy of the CD. He did, and I was like, I think that I listened to it once and I threw it away.
Yes,
it's so bad.
It's a prime example that not everything David Grohl does is gold.
So speaking of music, I got to talk to you guys about Graham Revell's composition work, because he's the composer for this movie. And I was like, oh, that name's really familiar. What else do I know him from?
He did the Idle Hands theme.
Right. But that's also what's so funny is that I went and looked at his Wikipedia, and let me just give you a slice. I'm just going to go with the horror movies that you guys would know that he's done. I'm going to start with the first one, 1990, Child's Play 2.
Nice.
And then he did People Under the Stairs. Did The Crow in 94. He did Street Fighter in 94. He did Tank Girl in 95, Basketball Diaries. He did Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie, From Dusk Till Dawn, The Craft, The Crow, City of Angels, Spawn. He did Bride of Chucky in 98.
He's kind of low-key. He deserves more credit, man. He's been behind a lot of big movies.
Yeah, and he's like making then he goes really weird in the 2000s with Pitch Black, Titan AE, Red Planet, Blow. He did the Daredevil movie. He did Freddy vs. Jason. He did Open Water, Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Precinct 13, Sin City. He did the Fog remake. He did Eon Flux. So like a lot of video game movies. The last thing that he did that I know of that I recognize is like Riddick. And that's not everything he's done. That's just stuff that I recognize that would be of note on our show.
So 2 things I'll bring up. Thing number 1, Scott, Ichabod Crane covered Call Me, correct?
Yep, we did. And I
was
like,
that because of this? Because I thought that the theme was songs in movies, and I think I always just assumed it was because of Bride of Chucky. And I think we've had this conversation before, but I forget what Call Me's in. It
was in American Gigolo.
Oh, okay.
That song. So the whole EP was called Rot Your Brain because it was songs from movies and TV. I literally got the idea for that EP's concept because I heard Call Me in the mall, and I was like, I haven't thought about this song in like a decade. This song is such a banger, and I just started messing with it, and that is one of my favorite covers that I've ever done. Like, it just translated so well. I could do another cover of Call Me for a future horrors release because of Bride of Chucky.
Yeah. Well, and that's so the funny thing with Call Me is that the first time we ever spoke, you sent me the Rot Your Brain EP.
Yeah,
to hear the cover of Call Me. And that's why I was just like, hey, it was for horror stuff. It has to be for Bride of Chucky. Because to me, I feel like it's iconically used in this movie. Like, it's like, I don't know, it's a hell of a lot better than whatever the fuck that Patsy Cline crazy cover is that's in the middle of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't they just get the original? Because that's like now that's an iconic song that they should have had for Jennifer Tilly. Well, I mean, anything Patsy Cline did is phenomenal, but like, they should have gotten the original. If they had the money.
All of this happens pretty much in the first like 20 minutes. The only other big thing I want to talk about in the first couple minutes that I think is really, really funny, and we've talked about this first kill, Chucky rips the lip ring out, which just made me never want to have a pierced lip. But
you were thinking about it anyway, you whiner.
Yeah. But I love that they're just having this conversation while Chucky's sitting on a pillow, and you just hear the sounds of suffocation and struggle in the background, but it's never addressed. Like, they just keep having their regular, like, hey, how have you been? It's been a while. So I'm a doll. That's weird, right? Like, yeah, there's definitely, I think that the movie follows a good tone. It could have gone too extreme to one end or the other, and I think it played the tone well enough. One of the lines that I always remember being charming in this was when they kill John Ritter. They shoot all the nails in his face, and Chucky stares at him for a couple seconds. He's like, I don't know why this feels so familiar to me. And it's just a Pinhead reference. But like, as a middle schooler, I was like, Chucky's amazing. But there are some things that don't hold up too, like the CGI glass falling on a bed.
We've seen way worse CGI in the last 6 months, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
It didn't bother me that much, and I'm usually the first person to bitch about CGI in these things.
Yeah, I think the CGI glass and their friend David getting just destroyed by a 18-wheeler are the two things where
bad.
the CGI just
really
does not
bad.
look good.
So I want you to take a clip of him pulling the gun on them in the car, and if you can insert it in this episode, because it may be the worst acting I've seen on this show thus far. All 3 of them. He's like, don't move. He's like, what are you doing, man? Dave, it's us. Marvin Berry.
Yeah, I don't need to pull the audio clip. That was it. Perfect. Note for note.
Yeah, Matt's just trying to find an excuse not to do that extra work for you.
I just like this gag in general, but I love a good TV flipping through channels foreshadowing in a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Jennifer Tilly in the tub, and like every channel's like basically talking about murder, and then she lands on Bride of Frankenstein. And I actually do think that the shot of the TV while she's being electrocuted, like, it's such a good juxtaposition of a kill with that TV like floating up with the screaming bride as she's being electrocuted and screaming simultaneously. And this is the guy who later went on to do Freddy versus Jason. But he did The Bride with White Hair. And there is a little bit of like that, you know, when you watch like Asian cinema, there is a lot of like weird stuff. Like I think of like something like Hausu, where like Hausu's a crazy movie, but like the visual compositions of stuff are very thought out. And you can almost see that applied in certain scenes in Bride of Chucky, which I think is really, really cool.
Yeah, and I bouncing off of that, like I think that while I don't love the pacing of this movie, and I would say like personally, I would be more likely to rewatch Child's Play 2 than Bride of Chucky, strictly due to the fact that it's, I mean, not that it's significantly more entertaining, but rather the pacing, I just think is a little bit more
so quick.
And Katherine Heigl is just such a fucking terrible actor.
Yeah.
So like that's really what kind of makes it difficult for me to truly love this flick, but I think that it's a really good looking movie. And maybe that's also because in that late, I mean, we were just talking about this with Disturbing Behavior, like that late 90s look is just, it's like really slick and it's really, really high quality, and it just like that heavy saturation, really dark shadows. I don't know. I really like that look. And so any movie from the late 90s that looks good, I can get down with.
It's comfort food. It's like it's cinematic comfort food. The only other line that I had written down that I thought was worth noting, and it's the other super, super meta line, but it's after Chucky and Tiffany finally reveal themselves to these two kids, and they're basically forcing them, they kill some old couple in an RV, and they've stolen an RV to get to the graveyard in New Jersey. And they're like, so what happened to you exactly? And Chucky goes, it's kind of a long story. To be honest, if it was a movie, it would take about 3 or 4 sequels to truly give it justice.
Yep.
I love it. The other thing that's weird in this movie, and I mean, there's no other way to do it, but when you have the entire movie, like the entire movie being these animatronic puppets, when you do the wide shot where it's clearly 2 little people in costumes fighting with shovels, it is very jarring to cut to that shot.
Oh yeah, I noticed like hitting the hood of the car. Like when he pushed under the hood of the car, I'm like, they are so much taller than those dolls.
I thought you were going to talk about the fucking scene.
Oh, no, I mean, that's classic. We got there before Team America.
Yeah.
It's definitely that was a line that I remember my friends used to quote all the time, where she's like, you got a rubber? He's like, baby, I'm made of rubber. And she's like, you're made of plastic.
That's my kind of humor, though. Like, I love super literal jokes, and it's so dumb.
Well, and then it ends crazy. Like, it leads into what would be Seed of Chucky, but like, it took so long for Seed of Chucky to happen that I was like, for a long time, I was like, that's a really weird way to end this franchise.
How long was it between them?
I feel like it was like at least 5 years. Like, it was too long for a movie that clearly had a setup to a sequel, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the sequel is very odd as a follow. Like, it works, but I would say out of all the continuity, that sequel is the weirdest.
Yeah, Seed of Chucky was 2004, so we're looking at 6 years after this one came out.
Yeesh.
I mean, that was Bride of Chucky.
Why was Kathy and Jimmy in here?
I have no clue, but they talk about it on the commentary track where they're just like, I think it was something like she was filming a movie nearby and she was friends with somebody and they were just like, hey, you want to just do a quick cameo as a cleaning lady? And she was like, all right.
So weird.
Showed up, took her like half a day, I guess, to like get into makeup, come in, shoot her scene and go.
Dude, when she came in though, I was like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme from fucking.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk double features. Brian, this was your pick. What double feature are you going to put this with?
Fuck, man. It's very weird how I went to this, but I would double feature it with Serial Mom.
Okay.
And both dark comedies. And even though we're talking Bride of Chucky, John Waters makes a cameo in the sequel to Bride of Chucky, who then went on to make Serial Mom.
Serial Mom. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Although he made it prior, so then went on to make. You know what I mean?
Whatever, we get it. You know what, Scott? I'm going to give you a chance to steal mine just in case.
No, I want you to go because I feel like mine is low hanging fruit.
Okay, so I think that Bride of Chucky
is the second best turning your horror franchise super meta mid-franchise. But I think the best one is still Jason Lives, Nightmare on Elm Street 6. Or, oh my God.
What the
Jason
fuck
Lives,
was that?
Jason Lives, Friday the 13th Part 6, which I still think is the best of like the, hey, in the middle of this franchise, we're just going to be really meta about the fact that there's been 6 of these fucking things.
So what did you want to be when you grew up?
Yeah. All right, Scott, did I take your low-hanging fruit? Or
No,
did you,
no,
okay.
not at all. I mean, and I think that, yeah, I'm going to go with it. So, because I was originally going to be like, oh, Bride of Reanimator, because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Bride of Reanimator. It's low-hanging fruit, though, because it's got the Bride of in the title, right? But then I was thinking maybe Return of the Living Dead 3. But Return of the Living Dead 3 is really bleak. Like,
Yeah.
I love it, but it is really bleak. So I think that if I'm gonna be doing a true double feature, it's gonna have to be 2 upbeat movies.
Hey everybody, we're back with another in theaters now. It's been a minute, but hey, there's a new Chucky movie in theaters, so you know we're gonna go see it. And we're bringing back someone who wasn't here on the last one of these that we did, Katie.
Yay!
Yay! She's hungover.
Thanks.
And real quick before we dive into this, because I completely realized that I haven't said this on any episodes, including episodes that we recorded for the future, I will be at San Diego Comic-Con hanging out the Geekscape booth. You should definitely come and check us out if you are in San Diego. Okay, Child's Play. What do you guys think? We'll do the non-spoiler stuff first on just the quick recommend, don't recommend, and then, obviously if you haven't seen it yet, shut it off and don't have this be spoiled for you. But I'll go last. So, Katie, you're our guest. Recommend or not recommend on Child's Play?
I think you want me to go last.
Okay.
Why? Because you're not awake yet?
No.
Or because you hated it?
Yes, I did not like it at all. But I mean, I do think that people should go see it, definitely, to make their own opinion. But it just wasn't for me.
You're allowed to dislike it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna you're totally allowed to. I'm just gonna hover my mouse over the kick button.
Yeah.
All right, Brian.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I say I loved it, understand the movie we're talking about. So it's a movie about a killer doll. So it's like very fun. It's not like a great movie. I love the take that they did on it. I feel like Don Mancini did originally what he said he was going to do like 5 years ago, I don't consider this a spoiler, but when he was talking about remaking it, he was saying that the first one was like kind of like drawn out, not a lot of deaths, not a lot of gore, and he wants to remake it with that. And I think he did a good job.
Well, he actually had nothing to do with this one, though.
Nothing to do with this.
Oh, I thought he was maybe that was the curse.
He's doing a new TV series.
Yeah.
Is that it? Oh,
yeah.
See, I thought he was behind
has
this one.
boycotted this. No, he's boycotting
Really?
this one because it's kind of just being done so that a studio can hold on to the rights to the name Child's Play.
Okay, so
I went
was
around
what I
telling
was
everyone that
wondering.
he wrote every single one, including this one. I'm
No,
a liar.
this is the-
Don't listen to
yeah,
me
this-
if you talk to
yeah,
me
this-
on the street.
Just don't
Yeah,
talk
this
to
is
Brian
the
on the
first one.
street.
I still liked it nonetheless.
Yeah.
I would recommend if you're going to see it, see a matinee because you forget
Kids.
when you're an adult,
Fewer
it's
kids.
summertime and
Yeah.
teenagers have nothing to do at night.
Yeah, ruined me at 3. I went and saw it Friday at 2 p.m. and it was filled with parents and their 10-year-olds.
Ooh.
So you can't even escape on the matinees, I think.
That's
Scott.
why y'all need a draft house because they're 18 and up most of the time.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you-
trust
they
me.
give you-
The whole movie I was thinking I wish that there was a draft house here. Scott?
It's funny that Matt is like, oh, I wish there's a draft house because I went with Mario. We saw it at 7:10. We saw the very first show on Thursday night, and I was like, man, I could really use a drink. And it's not, I don't have a problem. I just mean like it's really I've gotten spoiled by the places that I normally go that have cocktails and beer and stuff like that, and so it's just like now I have this thought process. It's like, oh, movies as an adult, you can have a cocktail or a beer while you're watching a movie because I don't like watching movies in theaters. I actually when I got it's so funny. So we went and saw that, got home, and then when Megan and I got into bed, she was like, "Will you hold me?" And I was like, I'm not quite ready to go to sleep. And she was tired, and I was like, I'll just watch a movie. And I'm still like slowly enjoying my watch of Hellraiser 2 on Shudder. And she was like, "You just watched a horror movie." I'm like, "Yeah, but I watched that in public, and I don't really like watching horror movies with other people."
The only thing I got out of what you just said is that your wife asked you to hold her and you said no because you were watching Hellraiser.
That's my
Hellraiser
takeaway.
2?
Excuse me.
And Scott, did you like the movie or not?
Oh, I didn't want to tell you that part. Oh yeah, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed Hold on.
He was about to say Hellraiser 2, which
We still don't know his take on this movie.
Okay, yeah, I'm really just trying to make this one really count for me. I'm just such a glutton for attention. So I really enjoyed everything about it, except for the fact that it was that he said, "My name's Chucky." That's the I have no negative things to say about this movie. Do I like it as much as Child's Play 2? No. Do I like it as much as Child's Play 1? Probably not. But I think I saw Matt say somewhere that he put it like third or fourth on his list.
Yeah, this is my third favorite Child's Play movie, below Child's Play 2 and Bride of Chucky, but I think it's better than all the ones that came after Bride. I think it's better than the original. I have a lot of issues. I actually think the original is one of my least favorite in the franchise because I think it has some real pacing issues in the middle because of all the voodoo stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that removing the voodoo bullshit from Chucky in itself is brilliant.
I really liked, I was like, I didn't know if they were going to go evil AI or if they were going to go, is that a spoiler?
I think that it's kind of implied. I don't think that ruins too much.
Yeah, okay. But like, I didn't know if they were going to do the supernatural or the AI side, but this is like a really fun Black Mirror episode.
Yeah, I think that this is better. As much as I like some of the other Child's Play movies more, I think that this is a better, scarier Chucky. And
he's also empathetic. Like you empathize with, or he's not empathetic. You feel empathy for the killer doll. Like it's fucking cool. I don't know. I wouldn't gush over this movie just like I didn't gush over Halloween 2018, but I really enjoyed my watch.
Yeah. I told someone that I liked it because in a fucked up way, I'm like, but this kind of could happen. Because it really is just like an evil Alexa movie. Like,
it is. Tesla, like how that Tesla car killed that person.
Yeah. I'm terrified of that.
The Kaplan car.
But at that note, let's say that we're about to dive into spoilers. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is the point to shut it off. But three of us loved it, and one of us still says that you should probably check it out for yourself.
No, you should definitely see it. Like, don't let other people prove your opinion of it. Definitely go see it. It's a good movie to watch.
Man, Katie being posy.
I love this. We should kick her off the show more often. She comes back with more positivity.
Hey, I'm huge on people not basing their own opinions off of critics.
Very true.
Dude, critics are so pointless.
It's such a fucking waste.
Working in the video game industry and stuff and seeing that IGN is paid by like the bigger companies, you're like, fuck all those reviewers. Like, it's all just money.
And it's not even like some of them. It's not even like, oh, that wasn't a very good movie. Like I was so defeated on my birthday, on my way to see Aladdin, because there was just so many reviews where it's like, this movie isn't bad. It is a tragedy. It is disgustingly awful. One of the worst things that Disney has ever done.
And it's just like a fun movie.
And I enjoyed the whole time.
Fun time, yeah.
I'm sorry, it's not fucking Shakespeare.
Yeah, like. Yeah, but anyway, so diving into the movie.
Wait. So I have one question for everybody.
Go for it.
So I would like everybody to go round table and just tell me, because I don't have a whole like a big affiliation or much of a feeling for the Child's Play franchise itself. So my question for you guys and lady is, are you big Child's Play fans, and does that affect your feeling on this remake?
It's so weird. I would say that I'm a big Child's Play fan, and one of my loves for Child's Play, it is the exact opposite of every horror franchise, because as much as I love Child's Play 2, I like the later dark comedies better. Like I'm like Matt, I don't really care for the first one. I really hated the third one. Child's Play 2 is awesome. I thoroughly enjoyed Bride of Chucky. I thoroughly enjoyed Seed of Chucky. I just found out 6 months ago that I actually never watched Curse of Chucky, and I found that out when I watched Cult of Chucky that I thoroughly enjoyed. Because I said something to my brother about like, I have no idea who this woman is. They just brought this new character and I feel like she was someone. And Matt was like, she was the main character in Curse of Chucky. I was like, oh, never knew that was a movie. Good to know.
Isn't that his daughter too, Fiona?
Yeah, Fiona. I love the Child's Play movies, and I used to they were kind of like the franchise that I would make fun of, but as I've watched more and more slasher movies, I really do applaud the consistency among them. Like there is a very coherent, you can follow the story of Chucky a lot easier than you can follow like Freddy or Jason, because there's always a well-established reason why Chucky comes back. Whereas like Freddy, it's just like, well, I guess that didn't take. Like that's like basically how Freddy comes back every movie, is just like, oh, we remember when you thought we killed him at the end of that one? We didn't kill him at the end of that one. So I've always and I just, like Brian said, I like that blend of dark comedy with him, and I think it works as a dark comedy. And I think that this did a really good job of being, I think this is the best dark comedy of all of them, in the sense that it is funny when it needs to be funny, but it's also really fucking dark when it needs to be dark. Like, it's not wacky and goofy like a dark comedy.
And so brutal.
But
it's vicious.
You need, in a movie like this, you need to have a comedy aspect, because it is laughable. And that's why I like about Child's Play is they always had like this somewhat like lightness to it. It's just like, I don't get into Annabelle movies. And it's the same thing with that Adam Scott movie where he's the stepdad and it's like the Omen type remake. Is like, with dolls and children, you need to have a fucking laughable side of it because it's not fucking scary. If I walked out my house right now and Children of the Corn was outside, I would slap the shit out of every single one of them.
Yo, speak for yourself.
They're not.
Yeah, that's why we have her on here.
So real quick, and this is to stick off of the thing that Scott said about how brutal the kills are. One of our listeners and a good friend of mine, Frank Sanders, recently moved to LA. He does a lot of DP work, and because of that, he's able to see a lot of like the test screenings and give feedback. And he messaged me and said, when I saw the original cut that they had, they didn't show any of the kills except for the lawnmower. They always would cut away. Did they actually put the kills back in? That was almost the entire feedback session, was that we needed to see more of the gore. So that's kind of cool to know that like they really thought that it was so graphic that they couldn't show most of it. So they cut most of it out just for the lawnmower, and test audiences were like, no. Show us more.
But the thing is that you don't really see much else. It's mostly tableau kind of stuff where there's the fucking skin. I mean, you see that lawnmower is fucking crazy. And then you see the skin on the watermelon. And then
how is his eyes still?
Yeah, that really
he plucked them. Chucky plucked them.
Wait 1 second. Do you want me to tell you about?
Yes. We're sorry. We
don't care about you, Katie. Get off the phone. You hated this movie.
Shame.
I have 2 pages of notes for this whole movie, so it's not that.
Did you take them in the theater?
Yeah. I have really bad ADHD, and I will watch a movie and then walk out and be like, "Huh, what was that movie about?"
Try being on this show.
Oh God! Yeah,
she has.
No, she knows. She gets to do the good stuff though.
All contrary. She did Chopping Mall and Troll. Yeah, come on now.
No, Troll is a bad movie. Troll is not a forgettable movie. That is not a forgettable movie. Troll is a movie you remember vividly.
I agree. Even I still stand by Troll is the more outrageous of that and Troll 2. Because Troll 2 is just a bad movie that you don't forget. Troll is fucking weird.
The thing about that recording of that, I forgot to watch the movies until the night before. So I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning watching Chopping Mall and Troll. Then
you can take my job.
Yeah, what a brutal double feature.
That's what I do.
That sounds like the best fucking double feature. What are you talking about?
Okay, so Child's Play. I didn't really didn't really get into the franchise very much because of dolls. I don't like dolls. Also, Chucky is a misogynistic douchebag.
Yeah, he's a prick.
But I do love Jennifer.
But
Tilly,
this Chucky's
so I'll
not.
watch it. I know. That's why I was like, oh, okay, like it's all right. But he did say bitch one time, so that's like on the line.
But that's just because he learned it from fucking Pug
Yeah.
or Puck or whatever the fuck his name was.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I never figured out what his name
Pug
was.
or
Every
Puck.
time they said, I'm like, I still don't know what your name is.
I love Seed of Chucky. That's like my favorite one of the entire franchise because it has John Waters in it.
Yeah. In Chucky's defense, now I'm not someone that is for misogynism in any way, but it definitely falls below my like priority list when your biggest issue is you're a serial killer. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, that Charles, he doesn't respect women one bit. Oh, also he killed a bunch of people in his lifetime. A whole lot.
I guess that we're not talking about it as the character, but rather the fact that it's basic nomenclature in the movie, in those movies. Like Freddy. Yeah, Freddy is a child rapist / murderer. But you know what
charming.
really bugs the shit out of
Yeah.
Is he?
No.
Well, I was gonna say,
the sweater.
but I think that what you're saying, Scott, is like at the same time, Freddy and Chucky have this weird. It's the downside of doing like a horror comedy is that like they, in a weird, fucked up way, become like an anti-hero because they're funny and they're likable. So it makes the like misogyny even more upsetting in a weird way because like you're not going to a Friday or a Nightmare on Elm Street movie to cheer on the human characters.
no.
Like you're there to see what Freddy's going to do to them.
Fuck yeah, you're there
So,
for
like,
the brutal
you could get
death.
away
You
with-
want to see how they go out.
Yeah. So you can do that without bitch being thrown around the whole
And
time.
But what's everybody's favorite fucking line?
Oh, I know.
Everybody's
It's prime
favorite
time,
Freddy
bitch.
line is "Welcome to primetime, bitch," and I hate that.
Yeah, because the big break in TV is such a better line anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so sorry, we keep
So
cutting
Katie,
off Katie.
you got
Yeah, I'm
you
sorry,
got to
Katie.
Seed of Chucky, right?
What?
That's where you had gotten to your thoughts on Seed of Chucky. Do you have anything to say to Cults or Curse or Cult?
The cult one was good. I watched it on Netflix.
Am I the only person that likes Curse of Chucky?
I don't think I've ever seen
Well,
Curse
Brian
of
hasn't
Chucky,
seen it.
so I can't-
Yeah, I haven't
can't
seen
say
it.
anything
I
about
like
it.
Curse of Chucky a lot, actually. I think that whole Bride to Cult is like its solid block of movies. But yeah, Cult's fun. Curse is great.
I think Curse is the only
Curse
one I
is great
haven't
because it's a gothic horror.
Oh, so what? How is that? You guys are crazy.
It was
But you
very
haven't seen Curse of Chucky.
underpublicized. It was super underpublicized. I think the only reason you and I saw it was because Reddit Horror Club made us watch it.
Is
What?
that true?
Yeah.
Curse of Chucky?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Cult of Chucky, unless I'm just so out of tune with the world, I felt like Cult of Chucky wasn't really publicized. I watched it because it was on Netflix. Like, I just saw that
That's
there
why
was
I
a
watched
Chucky
it
movie I
too.
haven't seen.
I was like, oh,
It's not
shit.
like I heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because they were both just straight to DVD releases, they kind of got buried. It's like the Killjoy movies. Do you know anything beyond the first Killjoy movie?
I don't even know what
But
you're talking
Killjoy is
about.
publicized enough.
Yeah.
You know? The
Well,
fact
okay,
that it isn't
14
is
Puppet
enough.
Master. How many? Yeah, like if I told you there was 14 Puppet Master movies, you'd be like, "How?" I've heard of like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Like, once they start getting real obscure in a digital age, if they're not streaming somewhere, they might as well not exist if they're not going to get a theatrical
You
release.
sure as hell can buy
Which
the
is-
whole box set with all of them.
And
Yeah.
stock in Full Moon just went down like 60% because I canceled my membership. So, yeah.
Dude,
Before
how
I-
are we gonna watch shit? How am I
Puppet
going
Master
to watch
4? I know, I haven't watched
Yeah.
it yet.
shit,
Oh,
dude?
Jesus.
It's $8 a month. Dude. It's just not.
Speaking of canceling, if y'all haven't watched the new Twilight Zone, I'm about to cancel my CBS
No!
access.
Katie, no!
I still have mine. See, if you're under 5, you can get away with taking my money. And I think CBS is like
Well, I
$4.99.
recently just got kicked off of a bunch of the TV networks that my ex-boyfriend's family had. I think they canceled cable.
How long ago did you
Still-
break up?
5
Oh,
years.
she's been talking about this about 2 years now.
Oh,
Oh, see, you're
4
lucky.
years
I'm
ago.
petty as fuck.
Thing.
You're
4 years ago, yeah, we broke up. But they had cable, and so I just used their cable login for like FX Now and everything else like that. But they just changed the password or canceled it. So now I have to buy like all of the like FX Now and stuff like that because I gotta watch my Simpsons, y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get past Katie's cheap ass and let's get
Hey,
back
I
in
pay for everything.
to
y'all
Child's Play because it's been 20 minutes and Brian needs to leave in 27 minutes. So maybe we should talk about
Can
the
we
movie.
talk about
Yeah.
the trailers? I just want to talk about one trailer.
Go
I
for it.
was underwhelmed with the trailers, but you can see if there's something different.
Did y'all get the trailer for the new Eric Andre Bad Trip movie?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that? I'm so over.
I hate Eric Andre.
How
He's so annoying.
Unapologetically love Eric Andre, and I think he's fucking.
I like Eric Andre too, but like I hate how do you actually write a movie around prank bits? Like just do
Bad
a prank
Grandpa?
movie.
They
you don't
did
need
it
to
with Bad Grandpa.
And that
yeah,
was a
and
good
it
try,
wasn't
and
good.
it didn't work. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
you cannot say that
it
that
doesn't
movie was
work
not
as a
good,
story.
Where he has the diarrhea in the fucking diner. That is like one of the best pranks I've ever seen in my entire fucking life.
But you're talking about
It's
the
a
prank.
prank.
What about the plot of the movie? Like
I don't care
just
about the
you
plot
could just
of the
do
movie.
yeah, obviously, and neither does the people making those movies. That's why I'm like,
Everybody
just
calm down.
Yeah, Matt
No,
is
I'm
getting
just like-
angry.
because it's like I got so excited because I'm like, oh my god, is there going to be another Jackass movie? And it's like, no, it's one of these things where we're trying to write a plot line around pranks, and it never fucking worked. Just do a prank movie at that point.
I'm sorry that I brought that up.
Yeah.
How dare you?
And they can't do another Jackass movie. Ryan Dunn's
not
gone.
without Ryan.
Yeah. Plus, God
But,
clearly played a huge prank on Bam Margera, and he hasn't recovered from it. So,
Damn,
That's
good
good.
lord.
I'm saying it now when you can't cut it. This is wrong.
So I will say that. Did you guys have like one or two really out of place Disney trailers?
I had Addams Family. I don't know if that's Disney. I don't think it's Disney, but that was out.
It's not Disney. I got Addams Family and Maleficent 2 in the middle of my Child's Play trailer list. I was confused.
Mine have all. I got Bad Trip, The Lodge, Midsummer, Scary Stories, and The Art of Self-Defense with Jesse Eisenberg.
I only got Scary Stories and Bad Trip out of that list.
You guys got good ones. I'm glad I didn't get a Midsummer trailer because I saw 5 seconds. I saw the guy who brought you Hereditary, and I can safely say I haven't seen one trailer for Midsummer because they're getting my money anyway. So I'm just going to say
Hereditary.
You know?
After you watch the movie, if you went back and watched the trailer, you're like, this literally is nothing. Like,
I think that A24 does a pretty good job of keeping things very, very obscure and keeping you on your toes when you watch a trailer. That's why, like, I don't have an embargo on trailers. I'll watch one.
Yeah.
You know? So I've seen the Midsummer trailer. I'm ready for it. I saw the Banana Splits trailer. I'm fucking ready for it. I saw Ready or Not. That was one trailer that I got before Child's Play. And I'm so ready for that.
Man, I wish
I love that actress.
I wish I would have seen that trailer in theaters. It just looks so good.
It's the same trailer that you posted on the group, so I mean, it's not.
But I want.
They don't have a second trailer.
Screen.
All right, so quick question that I asked everybody prior. Sorry, Katie, what are you gonna say?
So at the Draft House, they do this thing for PSAs, where they're like, if you talk this like blah blah blah, will like cut your head off or something like that. And it's like a movie clip from like shitty movies. Like I think there's one. This one is like the most hilarious one. When you post this episode, I will post this video with it, and it's from Food of the Gods 2. If you've ever seen that.
It's on our list.
No, but it's on the list.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay, I'll post the video on there because it's like my most favorite PSA that they have, and it's fucking awesome. I'll post it when you guys do it, and it's amazing. And I like crack up the entire time. People think I'm probably fucking insane.
So Katie, question, because I already asked Brian this. How deep into the movie were you when you realized that wasn't Jack Black?
None. I didn't ever think it was Jack Black.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was Jack Black until halfway through the movie, And then Brian still thought it was Jack Black until I asked him that question this morning.
Oh my god.
Her laughter at you, Brian, that just is
Sorry,
it's
Brian.
like it's basically glitter just sprinkling on my face.
I feel like
I
if
love
Jack
it.
Black ever heard this podcast and heard that you said that, he'd be fucking happy.
Well, because like in my head, I'm like, man, I love that. I literally thought I love that Jack Black is just like popping up in all these horror franchises now. Because like House with a Clock in the Walls was fun, and like Goosebumps was fun. But I'm like, now it's time for him to do like a good hard
You
horror.
mean Goosebumps
And I'm
2,
glad it's in
where
this.
he didn't
Yeah.
film with anyone and he probably only was on set for one day?
Listen, Goosebumps 2 is a bad movie. House with a Clock in the Walls is a great movie.
And I do want to tackle what would happen if Jack Black heard this. Would he be offended? Would he be offended that I mistaken that Jack Black looking guy to look like him? You're not John Hamm, Jack Black, if you're listening. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that I see a rotund guy with bad facial hair
and
and
confused
think,
the
hey, Jack Black's here. Where's Cage? So let's start. I'm going to start with Katie on this because Scott, you already said like one of your biggest beefs was the fact that he said his name was Chucky.
That's the only plot hole in the entire movie, which I think is great. I think that they did
Yeah.
a really good job wrapping up every single line that they or every step that they took was followed by another step, if that makes sense. Like I don't feel like there were no loose ends. I just wasn't happy with the fact that if it's where did it pick that up? If it's basically a learning AI, there's no reason why I would say Chucky. And I just felt like the way that they could have done that was just say that the kid wants to call him Chucky. Maybe because his dad's name was Charles or some shit. I mean, just you can have one throwaway line and they're very good on their exposition in this movie because the pacing's awesome, the exposition is fantastic without burdening you with anything. They could have just, I just thought that was lazy. That's all.
Yeah. I did like the Star Wars reference, though.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I don't know, I didn't really like that. But I also think about with the whole movie was him calling him Han Solo.
Yeah.
But my only, and this isn't really, I have two complaints. Both of them are minor, and one is more of a joke anyway. But complaint number one was I wasn't in love. Actually, three complaints. I wasn't in love with the way that the chip was like it just felt like a very easy way to get that particular toy to be broken. Was just like guy gets fired and then just happens to also, despite working in a sweatshop, know how to hack into a system and change the chip. Was like a little.
All he did was turn off all of the inhibitors. That's all he did. You'd have to know that to do a test.
That's true. Number two, I feel like the kid's hearing disability really never comes into play.
Yeah, because he gets that shit knocked out of his ear all the time, and he still hears.
Yeah, it's brought up as like an insult in one scene, and that Chucky can talk to him through the hearing aid. But like it's such like a minor thing. I don't even know why it's there. And Chucky's watching all this stuff, and he's picking up information from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and not once does he say incoming mail, and I was so upset.
Which I love
out loud.
What version of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 were they watching? Because that was all over the place.
Oh, it was all out of order.
Yeah, I actually turned to Mario and I'm like, that's out of order. That's what kind of fucking nerd I am. It's like...
but you know what? All three of us thought it, and that is why we podcast together.
Yeah. Okay, so here's one thing I want to say. If there's a character arc in Horror Movie Night, it's me. Because I went from fucking hating TCM2 to being the #1 champion of it on the show.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw it. I was like, oh, Scott's going to love this.
I was rock hard.
I almost turned back on my phone to text you as it was happening. And no one would have complained because I was sitting next to a bunch of children that were texting the whole fucking time anyway. So, Katie, we went through, we love the movie, and those were our little minor complaints. So what was it about this movie that didn't work for you? Or has our love of this movie already started to turn the tide for you?
You should know by now, no one influences me on anything. But I honestly I don't really have any complaints about this movie. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't like I hated anything about it. I think the only like half complaint that I would have to say is just the doll, but I mean it's because they don't have the rights to the original Chucky doll. I mean, I literally have no complaints about this movie.
But I kind of think it's so much creepier because of it. Like
When he's teaching him how to make the face, I thought that was very funny. But
yeah,
my only complaint is that they did too much CGI with the doll. I would have liked it to be all animatronic because they had the budget for it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just would have liked that a little bit better. But I thought that. So I think that everything in this movie is nicely understated in a positive way. Like Chucky being fucking creepy is understated in a very good way in the first 2 acts until he starts actually murdering things, starting with the cat. But also you understand his motivations. Like, is this really a slasher movie? Because so many slasher movies, the motivations you can't empathize with. I mean, yeah, it is, but it's just an interesting. So much of this is an inversion of the Mancini verse that I really can get behind, because so many remakes or reboots, you're like, well, what's the fucking point? And with this one, it doesn't feel like a cash grab. I know that a lot of people are upset with this film that have and have not seen it because they're like, there's no reason for this to be made. But I think that every story has been told a million times, and it's about how you tell the story. And I think that this story was written and told in a fresh and interesting way, in such a way that like you get to have an empathetic slasher killer, which is why Maniac 2012 is so fucking good.
And it like, so as far as the doll for me, I went in relieved with the doll. Because I had the same concerns that I think it was on the Little Shop of Horrors Fright School that Joshua mentioned, was based on like the pictures I saw, the doll already looked creepy. And that's what I thought it was going into. But then when you watch it, he actually doesn't look creepy in the beginning. And the story.
I don't think he looks creepy.
I
at all.
disagree. The opening shot, I was like, that is a creepy
No,
ass doll.
I mean, based on the trailer, it looked like he was just going to be this creepy doll, which is like, why would anyone buy that for their kid? But he really doesn't until he starts to go kind of like, you know, like a killer.
Haywire.
When he goes insane, it's
But
awesome.
even though this isn't a robot,
fucking bear, the bear buddy.
Oh yeah,
the bear's fucking creepy.
Also hilarious.
Yeah. Even though this is an AI, he shares actually. This is me being a true crime loser. He's actually more of a serial killer than the actual serial killer was in Child's Play.
Because he has a backstory.
Charles Lee Ray.
Yeah, like this is really, now obviously there's some that's just like they just want to get back at their mom, but like a lot of serial killers will like Jeffrey Dahmer. This is like a perfect example of like he didn't want these people to leave, or he wanted to like these friends, and he a lot of his kills were, he didn't even try to kill anyone, he tried to zombify them, but it seems like a lot of like, it's more realistic of a serial killer where it's like, okay, this is a person I love, this is a person that I'm gravitating towards. These people are getting in the way of it, but it's okay. Like I'll kill them so then I can have this person. You know what I mean? Like that shares more traits.
Feeling really sorry for the doll throughout the entire movie. Like when he's on the table, God, it was like killing me. But
when he's in the closet, that was the part that made me the saddest.
Yeah. I felt so sad.
He's like, I don't like being in the closet.
So sad. He reminds me of when he was on the table, he like did some mannerisms that reminded me of Gizmo from Gremlins.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say this has a lot of Gremlin. It actually reminds me more of Gremlins than Child's Play in a weird way, because it's about like a fun childhood toy that goes crazy over time.
That would be a great double feature, actually.
Yeah, and it taking place at Christmas time with him taking down the Christmas. Like,
so is that?
There's a lot.
I thought it was after Christmas because he says.
Well, it's slightly after Christmas, but like I'm saying, it's
why would
probably
the
like
Buddy
early
2?
January.
Why would the Buddy 2 be coming out a couple weeks after Christmas? That doesn't make any sense to me. That is like silly. So maybe it's spring.
And he's just had that shit up for a while.
Yeah, I mean, he lives in fucking California. I don't know when watermelons are in season.
But also,
that's true.
What about them pre-ordering it?
Also, he's a douchebag.
Because I think it was up for pre-order, though.
That's true, because that happens a lot too. Where
okay.
Because you remember the Star Wars toy thing. I'm not sure if you ever heard that when the Star Wars.
Oh, the original line in
the original line.
Whatever, yeah.
They just sold people pieces of cardboard
yeah.
that said your Star Wars toy will be ready for pickup in March or whatever, and that was what.
Oh like, no, Katie, you need to watch the is it the first episode of the Toys That Made Us?
Yeah.
It's really interesting because they talk about how the whole Star Wars franchise basically was fueled by the toys.
Interesting. You guys should watch. I'll watch that if you guys watch Star Wars. It's a documentary about like going up to episode 1 where people like stood in line for like a whole week. It's fucking crazy.
Oh,
I'll watch the shit out of that too.
Like,
Yeah, I'll make
have,
a
like,
second one.
charities. Like charities will stand in line for like super rich people for the movie for if they donate to like their cause. It's It's really good, and it's people who like go to see one of the movies that was showing the first trailer for it because they didn't show trailers on TV, I guess. And they like went and watched this movie, and it was like some shitty movie, and then they all run out of the movie, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm so excited!"
Yeah,
it's pretty good. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you guys.
Yeah, please do. I'll watch the crap out of that. So I will say. So let's talk about the deaths.
Oh yes, let's talk about those fucking kids.
Like, let's talk about these. I literally squirmed when he falls off that ladder and it close up of that leg.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no bueno, don't like.
But the best part about that is that your fear.
Yeah, I'm so scared of breaking my shins.
Oh, okay. Well, I oh my god. The best part about that is that he's such a shit father, and the thing is that this movie, like I said, is so subtle. It's not subtle, but it's not beating you over the head with how Black Mirror is like, technology will kill you, because like it's indifference to your fucking kids will kill you adults. And I love that, because the guy falls off the ladder and he's like, and the kids have their headphones on and they're just immersed in their fucking phones, and they like look up and he'd already fallen over and they just go back to their phones. No help from your progeny. I loved that. But I definitely cringed for that, but not nearly as fucking bad. And I was like, I went, oh fuck, when the perv falls off onto the table saw and his leg
his little foot gets
no, I'm sorry, it's when his toe hits the blade and it goes and oh god.
Or how about Chucky stabbing him in the dick?
That didn't do it as bad.
That was poetic justice.
Yes.
Yeah. Oof. So what was it? Oh, okay. So as I've complained on both online and on this episode, I was very annoyed by the fact that I was sitting next to a mother that had way too young children to be there. And I'm talking like 4 or 6-year-old range was like her group of 3. And they kept like pulling out their phones when they were scared to like look at anything but the screen.
Don't take your kids to see Child's Play, you dumbass.
I feel so bad for you.
But there was one part that made it all worthwhile, which was the scene where Chucky stabs the one dude in the neck when he's dressed up as a giant good guy, and it sprays all over the little girl's face. Yeah. And the mom starts laughing, and I hear the little girl go, "Mother, how could you laugh at that?" And I was like, "Oh man, that's amazing."
Buddy heads like scared the shit.
Oh, that was so disturbing. It reminds me of, if you ever watch Freaks and Geeks, the like mascot head that's the giant screaming Viking.
Yes. It reminded me of Slappy. And I'm like, obviously, I'm super afraid of ventriloquist dummies, and that's like immediately what I thought of. And I actually physically turned away when it popped up on the screen.
I knew he was gonna get stabbed in the fucking neck and then spray blood on that little girl's face. I saw it coming. They telegraphed it, and I was so happy.
The loudest scream again coming from those kids, and it actually, I don't know if the scene actually scared me or if the girls screaming so badly scared me, but around that same time where it's completely dark as Andy's walking around, and then just Chucky comes flying out of the darkness screaming.
And the cool thing about this movie is that there are only 2 or 3 jump scares.
Yeah.
Which really, like, and I thought that they were useful without being over the top. Like Annabelle. Annabelle is just all about jump scares.
Well, the trailer is just a jump scare at this point. Like, The Nun is just a jump scare.
The Nun is just a bad movie.
Like,
and so is Annabelle.
Well, no, I'm just talking about the trailer
the James
alone.
Wan jump scares that aren't actual jump scares. But
where you just see something silently in the background.
I really enjoyed those, but like the one.
Is that considered a jump scare then?
No,
if there's not like, if there's not a a musical sting behind it, I don't think it's a jump scare.
It depends on who you're with. Like it's definitely a jump scare for Jade.
once you
because
realize that it's there, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. We were watching
I think that's Dread.
Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I was watching it with Jade, and there was just a scene where the ghost was like in the basement in the top right corner.
Yeah.
And I turned to Jade and I go, "You see the ghost in the top right corner?" And she goes, "Ah!"
I've watched that show 3 times
That's the best
to try and see all of the ghosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the coolest part is the Where's Waldo of
Yeah.
ghosts throughout
Yeah.
that show. So I have to give credit also to this movie for Mark Hamill, dude. I think that Mark Hamill, at the end of the day, was a better Chucky voice than the original guy. And I know
highly
that's going to be
disagree.
blasphemy to say.
Well, I think
See-
that they're both good in their different ways because Brad Dourif is overactor to the max, and that's why he works as a deranged serial killer ghost inside a child's toy. But I feel like if you have deranged AI that is really more of a true psychopath, like Brian was saying, where he just wants to hold on to this person no matter the cost, I think that Mark Hamill is superior because I don't know if Brad Dourif could do that.
Yeah, they're definitely
I don't
both
think he
the better
could.
Chucky for the Chuckies that they are.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
they
I guess-
could. They can both exist.
So so here's I guess where I lean a little bit more into Mark Hamill, and I'm gonna use The Shining as an example. Stephen King despises the original Shining that Stanley Kubrick did, and one of the biggest reasons is the casting of Jack Nicholson, because he's like, you just casted a crazy guy to play a crazy guy when the movie's about a really good-hearted, nurturing, loving guy who slowly becomes more and more crazy. And I think that like Mark Hamill really does play that so beautifully throughout this movie, where you do see this transformation scene by scene as he gets more and more sinister and more deranged. Whereas like you said, I don't think that Brad Dourif could ever pull that off. Like Brad Dourif couldn't even believably pull off Chucky pretending to be a good person in Child's Play movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I don't think he could ever do that performance. He's great at the screaming thing, but I also think that Mark Hamill was more terrifying to me because he had such a soft voice.
But also,
he was-
Mark Hamill is a world-class voice
Yeah.
actor. Brad
That's
Dourif
true.
is a world-class actor. Like, you watch Exorcist 3, which I hate, but Brad Dourif is...
He dominates that movie.
He's the only reason to watch Exorcist 3. He's like he may not have any chill. He may be the Nick Cage of dramatic overacting.
Do you think that was a shout out to him in the one kid's room? Because I thought that was an odd poster to have. There was a Killer Clowns from Outer Space and then an
Yeah.
Exorcist 3 poster.
That's absolutely a Brad Dourif
Yeah.
reference. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
catch the Exorcist 3 poster.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we absolutely need to cover, but like the movie, I think it's a good time. It's a quick 90, you're in and out. I think the pacing of the movie is fantastic.
I was
'cause it
never
really,
bored.
Never bored.
yeah, I even, you know who we didn't talk
The
about?
cop.
So I was going to say the cop and his mom, because both of their deaths actually
Wait, he
upset
doesn't
me
die?
from. Oh, that's true. That's true. But the mom, like, I was like genuinely upset because the first couple kills, like, I could care less about a cat. I know that's
No, I
shitty, but
agree.
like,
How dare
whatever,
you.
it was a cat.
It's the
And-
first step.
Can I be-
It's like it's
Yeah.
actually great if Brian's talking about serial killers. Most of them start with abusing animals.
All right,
a pet.
I'm going to be honest. I felt the same remorse Matt felt for the cat. I'm really trying to get on Joshua's good side because I want him to be my best friend, and I know he's a cat guy. So that's why I didn't say it. I'm letting Matt take the hit.
But he's
But-
not editing this out, so
Yeah,
go.
but that's fine. But then, like, the first kill, it's like that guy's a piece of trash. You know what I mean? Like, you really are just
Yeah.
like, not that like anyone should die, but it's like I don't feel a whole lot of empathy
It's
for how shitty he is.
It's the slasher thing. You have to make your steps from but that's also cool because it's like it makes absolute sense why the cop's mom got killed, because she said to Andy, "You're my new best friend." And Chucky has he's ones and zeros. He's
Yeah.
binary.
Yeah,
So he sees her as a threat and he has to take her out. And that's what it really solidifies him as a villain, but it also shows you that like he is completely logic driven, which I think is very cool because you can't, even though at the end Andy starts singing the buddy song to just get him to stop for a second before he stabs him. I still think that this is a really cool way of having a killer where it's completely logic driven, where you can't really be like, please don't.
Yeah.
You have to give them a reason because they're a computer.
Yeah.
I love the first night with Chucky where he's just standing by the bed staring at him, singing this song. And I have to say, changing, so positive, negative. I'm fine with them having Aubrey Plaza play a young mother that had her kid
My
really
16th
young.
birthday was very productive.
but I almost like, the thing that bothered me was that their relationship just always felt like older sister, little brother to me the whole time, where I'm just like, why not just lean into that? Like, that's still like a touching thing. Like, their parents both died and they have to like kind of go about on their own. But I love the idea of just making Andy like a normal teenager, because that's the other thing that really hurts. Even Child's Play 2 to a certain extent is like, a 6-year-old, it's a little too easy to buy that like the kid just pretends that a doll's alive, and it's like, well, that's what a kid does. But like with him, I like that it's like, no, I think that there's something wrong with him. Like, he's psychologically losing his mind, and it plays it in a much, much, much darker light because of it. So I like that we did get like teenager Andy instead. I also love that on the same day Toy Story comes out with a bunch of toys and their love affair with Andy.
Whoever thought of that idea needs a fucking award and a fat raise.
Dude, putting those posters out there of just Chucky killing all of the Toy Story characters. They really, I think one of the guys from Monster Mania said it best, where it was like, whoever came up with those posters must have worked for Geico, because it was a great idea that got done way too many times.
Well, so one thing I wanted to say about like Andy and Chucky that I really liked, and we did mention it earlier, is that so he's different. So he's got a hearing impairment, but it's not like he's not heavily handicapped. So it's like he's just different enough to have trouble with making friends,
well,
and Andy is like, we're both.
They just moved there. He's the new kid. He has no friends.
Yeah, but even being a regular new kid, much less one with a handicap, that I like that they touch upon that, and how he's like, how the Buddy doll, but Chucky is like, we're both different, and we're both like, and that's why we're supposed to be together. It's like, I really think that it's cool, because if you look at him as a psychopath, as Chucky is like a psychopathic AI, you see him manipulating Andy. But when I'm thinking about that in retrospect, but when you watch the movie, when I watched it, I just felt like Chucky is learning, because they're intuitive AI. And so he's learning like a child, and he's saying like, he's finding things that are similar, and he's like, no one will appreciate us like we will appreciate each other, because you cared about me even though I was broken.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because he says it's okay if you're broken, because Andy actually says that to Chucky like the first week or something.
Because he tells him,
and it was really touching when they're playing games together and stuff.
He's like, no one can find out that you're different. That's just our secret.
Right. Thank you.
I have a question. What was the worst thing Aubrey Plaza did as a mother?
Everything.
Because I know the correct answer. There was one thing that I was like,
own a cat.
No. I understand you want your son to make friends. Those two kids at night hanging out by a lamppost in the rain is not like, hey, go hang out with those kids out there at night getting rained on. No.
But it's kind of funny because you're trying to see her like that. I think that you want to see Aubrey Plaza as a good mom, but she's almost as dismissive of a child's needs as every other adult in this film.
Yeah.
That is obsessed with the Kaplan products.
Yes.
So, I mean, it's kind of, it is on brand, and I do like that. I hadn't thought about that, but it's almost like subversive on a different, like on a lower level that you didn't think much about, because I can see him caring about the mom, but I really can't see. I mean, I can see Andy caring about his mom, but you're right. I have a hard time really seeing her caring about Andy. I understand she's just trying to keep her head above water.
Mhm.
You know, she's working a crappy job, trying to make ends meet, living in a dingy apartment, and has a boyfriend that sucks, but she keeps him around
Yeah.
because she just wants some sort of affirmation from an adult man.
Well, and that's why I still think that it actually works better if she's an older sister that's stuck with a younger brother due to circumstances out
yeah.
of her control, because it makes the dismissiveness a little bit more understanding, and it makes her kind of not giving a shit that the boyfriend treated Andy like a piece of garbage a little bit more validity too. Because, like, as someone who's friends with a lot of people who are single mothers, that if you don't get along with their kid, like, it doesn't matter how much they like you, that's it.
It's a make or break.
So all in all, though, unless anyone else has anything to say, I think that's pretty good. Go see it. It's fun. It's definitely ranking high as one of my favorite remakes. It's tough to even call it a remake because, like you said, it's a remake in the sense of like House of Wax and Maniac, where it's very, very loose on the source material and just taking a concept and really running in a whole new direction.
If you're
going to
do a remake, I am one of the people that's how you do a remake. Like, we don't need a Nightmare on Elm Street, which is just the original,
like shot for shot recreating
that's what
it.
Reimagine a lot of the time. Like, use your own imagination. You're not the person who wrote the first one. Just use your own thing and just like take little things from the original. That's like
I am
with like the BioShock games. And this sounds so stupid, but like the first BioShock game, super amazing. The second BioShock game, they didn't have any rights to the original stuff. Instead of going a separate direction, they just took bits and pieces, and then they had them for the third game, and it was amazing.
Well, so one thing I do want to point out, I think, is that I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this. People were bitching about this remake and referring to Nightmare on Elm Street, whatever, 2010 or whenever that came out, or whatever year. And I was really upset by that, because even out the gate, you should know already that this has nothing. Like, this is so different from the original Child's Play. It's not like you have a possessed doll. I mean, I think it's pretty straightforward in the trailers, like that it's not a possessed doll. And I don't know. I just feel like this is fine. It can coexist, because I don't know where you can go with the Mancini Chucky anymore, because I liked Cult of Chucky, but I'm also not going to revisit it, because I feel like that franchise has had great legs and has had a great tenure, but I don't know where else you go with it. You know, like, it's just, and I think that Friday the 13th, you could go in an amazing new direction, and the fact that they did a shot-for-shot remake is a travesty. But, you know, I do take issue with people being like, we don't need more remakes because of Nightmare on Elm Street 2010 or Friday the 13th 2011, which has its merits. You know, it's not a good movie, but it has its merits.
Well, it's also very misguided when you look at history and film as a whole, because some of the greatest movies in film history were remakes. Like, most people don't realize that Wizard of Oz is not the first attempt at doing the Wizard of Oz. Like,
I didn't know that.
Also,
I don't give a shit about Wizard of Oz, so there's that.
but like, people bury that information because, like, you know, it was a silent film first, and, you know, like, look at how many different versions of Dracula and the Wolfman and Frankenstein and all of those other movies have existed.
Thomas Edison did the first Frankenstein.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
well, what's the best Frankenstein? What's the best Dracula? Can you guys tell me?
I mean, I can't, because I'm gonna say Universal for both, unless we're gonna do it.
Dracula.
No, I disagree with that, but I was gonna go with young Frankenstein.
Yeah. Well, and Young Frankenstein's brilliant, because if you really listen to the dialogue, they acknowledge, like Young Frankenstein treats itself as if it is a sequel to the Universal franchise, and
Yeah,
not a
that's how
parody.
you can really tell it's a Gene Wilder film and not a Mel Brooks
And-
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's the line where I forget what it. There's something that comes up where like one of the townspeople says like, "We've dealt with this Frankenstein issue 5 times
Yeah.
already," and that would have been, if it was part of the Universal franchise, it would have been the 5th Frankenstein movie. Like it was like something like
That's
that, where
great.
they were like very much trying to acknowledge like this town has to deal with this bullshit every single time someone comes looking for Dr. Frankenstein's notes. Like, all right, so Brian, you got to get rolling. We went past our time a little bit. Guys, go check out Child's Play. If you're in San Diego for Comic-Con, come swing by the Geekscape booth, say hello. Check out some of the people from Horror Movie Night that are going to be there. Not specifically Scott and Brian, but past guests like Rebecca McKendry and Jay Tro, just to name a few. Katie, thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back in maybe a month or two with an in theaters now, probably for Scary Stories to Tell at the Dark. Our lives are a little too busy to make Midsummer work. And also, I think it's a very limited release compared to Hereditary. So those who are wondering, no, it's not going to happen. But we will be back on Friday with another episode of Horror Movie Night. Thank you, everybody, for listening and hanging out on our social media and all that good jazz. If this is your first episode of Horror Movie Night, we've got over 200 episodes of a back catalog. Feel free to have fun.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.